Hi everyone, Stacy here. Welcome to my channel, or welcome back. So today let's talk about the month of October and the energies that will be available to us this month. And yes, we are still in eclipse season, so I will definitely be talking about that for each and every sign and what that could mean for each and every one of us. Now, before I dive into all 12 signs, I do want to just take a quick opportunity to thank each and every one of you for liking, sharing out my content, subscribing to my channel. I appreciate each and every one of you, and I'm sending the love back to you tenfold. So thank you so much for that and the support. And if you're new here, welcome. Thank you so much for finding your way to me. I am grateful for each and every one of you, and I'm so happy that you are here with us today. So anyway, and also keep the comments coming, you guys. I love reading them. I do my best to read each and every one of them. So continue to share your stories if you feel comfortable doing so, the good, the bad, the ugly, the beautiful. It not only helps me in my practice, but I have no doubt it helps other people as well, knowing that they are not going through things alone. So, which is rarely the case. There is always somebody out there that's going through the same things that we are going through. So anyway, so thank you so much for sharing your stories. Also, keep in mind, these are general readings. I can't emphasize that enough. So I do use a whole sign house system in all of my astrology videos. When I work with my clients one-on-one though, I do use whole sign and I do use Placidus. I look at different types of house systems, in particular the angles. So again, all of my videos, whole sign house system I use Western tropical astrology. So again, take what resonates, leave the rest. You know, keep in mind, I do not have your personal birth chart sitting in front of me. So it depends on the house system you prefer. And also it depends on if you know your rising sign, right? A lot of people know their sun sign, but I mean, certainly watch for your rising sign. If you know that, I think that would resonate with you the most. But again, if you don't know that, that's okay. You can certainly watch for your sun sign as well, and your moon sign too, and any other planet placement point that resonates with you the most. You can certainly watch for that as well and pull all the information together for the month of October, and it'll paint you a high level picture of what could be coming down the pipe for you this month. All right, and if you'd like a tailored personal reading to you, for you, all about you, if you'd like to work with me one-on-one, you can get in touch with me on my website, and I'll be sure to put the link to that in the description box below. Now, before I dive into all 12 signs, I do want to just rattle off just a few high-level things for the month of October. I'm not going to dive into too many details here, so just bear with me for about 5 to 10 minutes. So this month is another month of change. Similar to September, it does have a similar feel that we're kind of like walking between the worlds, even though I feel like we've been walking between the worlds since 2023. But anyway, it's another month of transition. It's another month of change. All those activations in Libra with that South Node, where the South Node is currently right now, and we have a South Node eclipse at the beginning of the month here. So I'm going to talk about that, but that emphasizes letting something go in order to welcome something new into each and every one of our lives. So just keep that in mind this month. Now, for some of you, this might have already happened, okay? Because eclipse energy, keep this in mind. Eclipse energy sometimes can happen 2 to 3 months before the actual date of the eclipse. And then sometimes usually the energy ripples out 6 months after the date of the eclipse. So always keep that in mind. It's not usually about the specific day. It's about, okay, what has happened the last 2 months up to this point in time. And then always keep it in mind that this energy is very fluid. After October the 2nd, for example, when we have this eclipse in Libra, it will continue to ripple out until March, when we have the next eclipse cycle, and that's March of 2025. So again, another month of change, but opportunity. Again, opportunity to let something go, and new opportunities, new beginnings coming into at least one area of life. Now, the ingresses this month. So Mars is still transiting through Cancer. September the 4th, he went in there, and he will be in there until November the 2nd. Now, speaking of Mars, Mars is going into shadow this month, specifically on October the 5th, 17 degrees of Cancer. So I will make a separate video about Mars retrograde. Mars is going retrograde in December, but he is in shadow officially on the 5th. And what that means is Mars will be coming back to 17 degrees of Cancer in late February, early March of 2025. So for those of you that are interested, start noticing things. And if you do know your chart, look to the Cancer house and look to the very beginning degrees of Leo. That's where we're going to experience this retrograde of Mars. So we are reassessing and redoing something in this area of life, but over the next 6 months. This is a long transit. Like I said, I'll make a separate video about that. I'm hoping to get that out by the end of October, so stay tuned for that. Of course, we have the Sun moving into Scorpio this month on the 22nd, and we do right now have Venus in Scorpio. She is, let's see here, she popped in there September the 22nd. She will be there until October the 16th. And then on the 17th, she's going to pop into Sagittarius. Now, Mercury right now being in Libra, helping out with our relationship sector, he will be moving into Scorpio on October the 13th. So lots of transition this month. Moving from Libra to Scorpio is quite two different energies, so we will definitely talk about that. Oh, and of course, yes, the eclipse, October 2nd in Libra at 10 degrees. We will be talking about that too for each and every sign. And this is the final eclipse in the Libra Aries cycle for another 18, 19 years. So this is it. And then our final eclipse in Aries is happening in March of 2025. And then we are wrapping up this greater eclipse cycle that began in July of 2023. And if you want to go back even further than that, if you want to reflect back to 2005, 2006, that's when we last had this eclipse cycle, specifically where the North Node was in Aries and the South Node was in Libra. So this is it, you guys. But again, don't expect something to happen on the day. This will ripple out for the next 6 months or so. And then we have a full moon in Aries this month. We'll talk about that on the 17th of October, 24 degrees of Aries. Now, this is not an eclipse, but something tells me this is connected to April 2024 when we had that really amazing solar eclipse that we could see across North America in Aries. I believe it was around 19 degrees. So I feel like there's a flavor here to that new moon, because that technically was a new beginning, a new start in something. Is this the finale though? Maybe. Depends on if this is hitting your chart personally. But regardless, it's a full moon. So that means something is coming to a culmination point in the area of your chart, specifically around 24 degrees. So we'll talk about that. And Jupiter is stationing retrograde for the first time while he's transiting through Gemini here. He is retrograde on October the 9th. Now, one good thing about Jupiter going retrograde, you know, he's been trying to expand this area of life for you. So, I mean, if you've been trying to dive into multiple different projects or taking on a lot of stuff, whether this is at work, at home, whatever you do on a day-to-day mundane level, this is a time to take a step back and reflect on, okay, do I need to really work on 17 projects? Do I really need to have 4 jobs? Can I kind of narrow my focus down a little bit? So that's what I love about Jupiter retrograde. And again, this will be with us for quite a while. He doesn't go direct until February of 2025 at 11 degrees of Gemini. So again, if you know your chart, 11 degrees of Gemini to 21 degrees of Gemini, that's where he's going to be moving back and forth in this area of life for you. Also, what I love about Jupiter retrograde is opportunities from the past could actually come back around. So look forward to that over the next few months as well. And Pluto is going direct this month, October the 11th, at that critical degree point in Capricorn, 29 degrees. So again, you guys, this is huge. This is monumental. I cannot stress this enough. I know lots of other astrologers have been talking about this as well and emphasizing the importance of this. We are in the final 5 weeks of Pluto wrapping up a very long stay in Capricorn. Since 2008, he's wrapping up a story, and then he will officially move into Aquarius next month in November. I don't have the date in front of me, but it's in roughly in 5 weeks from now, and or 5 weeks from October the 11th, I should say. And this is it, 19 years he's going to be in Aquarius. So that means he'll be moving into a brand new energy, a brand new house for each and every one of us. So I absolutely love this. This is the finale, you guys. Lots of, like I said, walking in between the worlds the last couple years, lots of change. Plus on top of it, I'm going to get ahead of myself here. Wait until Uranus moves into Gemini. Wait until Neptune and Saturn move into Aries. We are in this era of air and fire for many, 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 many years. So it's all about that yang energy. There's been so many years of this energy was more internalized. Now we're going to start seeing manifestation really pick up over the next several years. I just heard over the next decade, because yes, these heavy hitters, Pluto, Neptune, and Uranus in particular, they are generational planets because they do move a lot slower. So again, I'll take a step back because I could talk about this forever, but these big heavy hitters are at critical degree points of the final degrees of Pisces, for example, and Taurus. And then we have Pluto in Capricorn. So they're sort of making like the top of a kite formation. And what do kites do? They take us to higher places. Okay, so this, like, get excited, you guys. Like, I know it's tough to be on the planet right now. I know. I don't want to stick my head in the sandbox and ignore it, but I feel like so many people are talking about it. I don't need to talk about it. So just look forward to the many, many, many years ahead. I know this is not light switch energy, but I'm just trying to spread the hope that I think things are going to get better. Okay, we do see the light at the end of the tunnel, you guys. We just got to go through a little bit more muck, a little bit more whatever you want to call it, until we get to the end of that tunnel. And it's like we're going to be walking into a brand new world. But again, with me saying that, it's still not going to happen overnight, but we'll see manifestation start to really, really, really pick up, and things that we can't even comprehend right now are going to start happening. So anyway, I'll get off my soapbox now, and let me know how that eclipse in Pisces last month was for you, depending again on how this hit your chart. If you had anything around 25 degrees anywhere in your chart, how did this impact you? Because again, this is a brand new cycle that is now starting in Pisces and Virgo, and the nodes of the moon haven't even moved in there yet. So again, I'm going to make a separate video about this as well, about the new Pisces Virgo eclipse cycle. So stay tuned for that. I'm also hoping to get that out by the end of October. Otherwise, let me just double check here. I think that was about it. Okay, let's move into all 12 signs. Hey, Aries, let's talk about where I think some of your focus will be for the month of October. So your 7th house and 8th house is definitely being lit up at this time, and also your 1st house. So we will talk about that. So for starters, the sun right now is still transiting Libra, highlighting your relationship sector. Now, when I say relationships, it depends on what you're watching for, but this could be in love, like a love relationship, or somebody that you are in a relationship with, or this could be business, work, whether you own a business, run a business, a manager, a leader, or if you work for a bigger employer, whatever the case may be. This is all to do with how you relate one-on-one with individuals. This could also be about marriage, or talks of marriage, whatever that means for you, or commitments, making commitments in your business, in work, whatever the work world is for you, Aries. And again, even if you're not working, this is making a commitment to what? Volunteer, to babysit, to dog walk, to get more involved in your community. Like, what is it that you want to commit to for the month of October, which is going to probably do a 12 cycle, what am I trying to say here? 12-month review. It'll probably last a little bit longer here, especially with that eclipse energy too, which I'll talk about in a second, because this is all about endings and new beginnings in this relationship house for you, Aries. Also, contracts, agreements, negotiations, if I did not mention that, is also housed in the 7th house for you as well. And once the sun moves into Scorpio, this is now taking a deep dive with regards to a financial house for you, Aries. Now, this could be about your partner's finances. Again, whether this is a partner in love or a partner in from a business perspective. But this could also be mundane things like taxes, debts, loans, reconsolidating debt, or just maybe the extra focus is being put on your debt structure, or where is your money going, or this could also have to do with property as well, if that resonates with you. Now, Venus through here, Venus moving through Scorpio, this usually means a good thing for your finances, but it's not so much about you. It could be about your partner. So if you are connected to somebody in love or business, this usually means you benefit through another person, whether again, it's in love or business. Now, if that doesn't resonate with you, this just means you could be getting money coming in from another source. So whether this is a bonus, commission, something that you've been waiting on for a while, this could do with taxes or government sources, just money coming in from another source, or your client base if you are a business owner. It could also be money coming out of the blue. I'm not saying you're gonna win this giant windfall, but I mean, I guess if you don't play the lottery, you don't know, right? Just don't bet the farm, Aries. I'm a realist. I'm not a big fan of the lottery, but do I play it from time to time? Absolutely. But I don't know how many times I've been in the store and I'm behind people that are spending hundreds and hundreds of dollars on lottery tickets. And I'm like, my skin crawls when I see that. It's like, it's just, but again, this is just my opinion. Okay. Sorry, I'll get off my soapbox here. But anyway, regardless, this is good news for your finances because the sun is moving in here, illuminating something, and Venus is cruising in here, which is always good because wherever Venus goes, she's attracting, right? So she's attracting love and money and beauty and harmony in this area of life in particular. And then also Mercury will be popping in here as well, just putting the extra emphasis on this. Actually, Aries, probably not a bad month to, if you're looking to get like a car loan or some sort of loan or a mortgage renewal or a mortgage period, not a bad time to approach the bank this month because you'll appear a little bit more attractive and your 8th house is just lit up with these wonderful planets. So I'll leave it at that, Aries. But anyway, that's where I think your focus is going to be this month. Now let's talk about the new moon and the full moon. So we have our final new moon solar eclipse in Libra at 10 degrees. If you have anything, if you know your chart, great. And if you don't, that's okay. But if you have anything around 10 degrees of your sign, somewhere in Aries or somewhere in Libra, you will definitely feel this. So this eclipse is at the south node. So this is all about letting something go. Now, Aries, this might have already happened. Did you let something go in order to welcome in something new? Now, this is in your 1st house, 7th house. So this technically can impact all areas of your life. Anything that reflects back into the 1st house, it's sort of like it can impact our home life, our career life, our family, friends, your any sort of relationship. Again, all walks of life, whether that is love or business or friendship circles or whatever the case may be. And it could also impact you as well. But at the end of the day, this is a new moon in your 7th house. If this was a full moon, which we do have this month, I would say this could more so be about you, but I'll get to that in a second. So again, Aries, this is an interesting new moon because usually I would say plant those seeds of intention on October the 2nd, but maybe not, maybe hold off, or you could just hold them in your mind's eye or hold them in your mind because it is an eclipse. So it's sort of a very wild card type of energy. You don't really know what you're going to get if you set those new moon intentions. So I usually say to folks kind of like hold off, maybe wait for the next new moon cycle, which we have one every single month, to plant those seeds of manifestation that you want to manifest over the next 6 months. But at the end of the day, this is still a new beginning, and this is all about opportunity to finally let something go. This is a bigger cycle that's been playing out since July of 2023. The last time we had this eclipse cycle, think back to 2005 and 2006 Aries. That's the last time we had this eclipse cycle, specifically in your sign where the North Node was and the South Node in Libra. So there could be similar themes happening. I'm not saying the exact same thing is going to happen, because obviously the sky looked quite different back in 2005 and 2006. So regardless, I still think this is good. This is fate stepping in and helping you shed something that's just not working anymore. And for you, Aries, yes, it could be a relationship. It could be a contract. It could be a marriage. Now, if you're sitting there saying, well, Stacey, I'm happily married, that's fine. Then that means it's going to be something else. And again, maybe it's something that already happened. For a lot of people, I noticed sometimes eclipses manifest quite a few months before the actual day. It's just that it's the realization. It's when it sinks in around the eclipse time. Like, oh, okay. Yeah, I've let that go. Now it's time to move on to something brand new. Now, that full moon, again, in your sign, I have a feeling, this is not an eclipse, but I have a feeling this has something to do with April of 2024, something that was started back in April. And that's when we did have a new moon solar eclipse in your sign, Aries. And it was around, I believe, 19 degrees. And I believe it was hand in hand with Chiron, which is kind of still, Chiron is still hanging out there as well. But this full moon, I feel like, is going to have a flavor of April. So something is coming to a culmination point. At the end of the day, full moons are endings, culmination points. It's sort of like, okay, chapter 1 is done. Now we're moving into chapter 2. So full moons in your first house, again, do illuminate across the board. So again, for you, emphasizing on that relationship sector here, Aries. But again, this could have something to do with your career. It could be connected to the home life, to the kids, how you parent, how you are as a parent. Maybe something to do with your parents. Maybe your parents are going through a transition or a change of life or a change of circumstances. It might not be about you. It might be about them as well. Again, Aries, I don't have your chart in front of me, so it just depends on how this is hitting you personally. But I do have a feeling this has something to do with a relationship in some way, shape, or form. Okay, and then also, let me see here. I want to make sure I didn't miss anything with these moons. Okay, and also, yeah, Jupiter is supporting this full moon as well. So that means, again, just amping up the opportunity energy that I talked about, just helping you bring in more blessings and opportunity. And it could be, again, getting news from something or someone, or news coming in, because Jupiter is in your third house of communication, your neighborhood, day-to-day doings. It's a very busy, busy house. Could be about writing, journaling. If you're an author, publishing, things like that could be coming in as well, Aries. Okay. Let's see here. Now, what else? Mars in Cancer. I'm going to make a separate video about this, Aries, because Mars is now going into shadow. He's going to be in this fourth house for quite some time for you. And it is making a bit of a challenging angle to your Aries planet's placement points. So it just depends on what you're watching for. Also, if you do have anything in Libra, Mars is also making a challenging aspect to that sign as well. But this is all about restructuring your home life, Aries. This is actually really amazing for renovations. If you want to renovate or make any changes to the home, you have this 6-month window to do so. And actually, this is actually an amazing time to do renovations and to beautify the home. And it just gives you the power, motivation, stamina to dedicate your time to home projects. When he goes retrograde, though, he might want to pump the brakes a little bit on home projects, but it'll be a really good time to step back and sort of reassess where you are at. Now, if that doesn't resonate with you, again, this is anything to do with home, family, your roots, your kids, your parents, where you came from, ancestry, going deeper into that, diving deeper into that. Mars here is just going to activate that for you again over the next 6 months. Okay, we talked about Venus and Scorpio, and then yeah, Venus moving into Sagittarius as well, middle of the month. I'm going to throw it out there, Aries. If you are single, you could find international love. Or if you are traveling at all in the month of October and, well, specifically middle of October to middle of November, you know, because again, wherever Venus goes, she attracts, right? So that could be love, money, beauty, harmony, whatever the case may be. But yeah, Venus in the 9th house always reminds me of finding love internationally or traveling or something like that. Plus, on top of it, she's going to be making really amazing aspects into your sign, Aries. So this is going to be wonderful. It's going to make you kind of turn into a bit of a magnet as well. And also, if you have any planets, placements, points down in Leo as well, she's going to be infusing her energy into that sign as well. Otherwise, Aries, that's about it. So enjoy the month of October, and we'll see you back here next month. Bye for now. Hey, Taurus, let's talk about where I think your focus is going to be for the month of October. So as you can see, your Libra and Scorpio houses are definitely going to be lit up this month, and I will get to the eclipses here in a second. But the sun is currently in Libra, continuing to highlight that busy, busy, busy work house for you, Taurus. So whether you work for someone or own your own business, or if you're a manager or leader or whatever the case may be, this is highlighting the workplace in general, your business in general, or people that work for you, whether again you own a business, run a business, or if you are a manager. This is highlighting the workplace and the employees that work for you as well. This could also, you know, be about pets and animals as well. Maybe something has come to light, especially with this eclipse in here. I have no doubt for those of you that have animals, possibly there could have been some changes in their lives, or pets coming and going from your home as well over the last couple years. So this is all about just you're busy. This is a busy house, busy day to day, mundane stuff, your diet, your health, your routines, exercising. Are you taking sort of, for you in particular, Taurus, I'm hearing balance, 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 which I find interesting because your 6th house is ruled by Libra, and Libra is all about bringing in the balance and, you know, giving yourself a gut check of, hey, where do I need to bring in more balance for me? Not so much for everybody else, but for me. And I think this eclipse is also going to help bubble something up to the surface to make you understand that as well, to bring in more harmony and blessings and balance into your life to benefit you, Taurus, instead of looking after everybody else, for example. Now, once the sun moves into Scorpio on the 22nd, this is going to highlight your relationship house. So this is all about all walks of life, how you relate to another person. This could be in love. This could be if you're in a common law relationship, if you live with anyone. This could be about business, again, business partnerships or people that you are in business with. This could also be about marriage, contracts, agreements, negotiations as well. This is kind of putting the spotlight there. And also I have to say, with Venus moving through Scorpio, this is, you know, really beneficial for your relationships. Wherever Venus goes, she not only attracts love, money, beauty, harmony, wherever she goes, but for this, like this is, you know, how do I say this? The 7th house she loves to be in. However, your 7th house is Scorpio. So she's not 100% comfortable in Scorpio. She does have a difficulty expressing her true self. And I forgot to mention, this is your ruling planet, Taurus. So she does have a little bit of difficulty here, but it's the 7th house where she is at home in her 7th house. So So it's a little bit of yin and yang energy here, Taurus. You might feel that as Venus cruises through Scorpio, this house in particular. But all in all, really nice for your relationships, Taurus. And if you are single and looking for someone, you could definitely attract someone into your life. I'm just going to throw it out there. They might be kind of intense. If you meet anyone under Venus transiting Scorpio, they're usually pretty intense and pretty spicy. And I'm not saying that's a bad thing. Just if that's your type, great. But if it's not, just be mindful of that, Taurus. Be very mindful. But otherwise, yeah, really, really nice transit with Venus cruising through your 7th house there. And then eventually she's going to pop into your 8th house of Sagittarius. And again, bringing in benefits and blessings when it comes to your finances, especially your partner's finances. The 8th house is more so about other people's money. So if you're connected to anyone, again, relationship in love or business, usually you benefit from them. Maybe they're going to get a raise or a bonus or a payout or something like that, and you benefit from that. But all in all, if that doesn't resonate, Venus moving through the 8th house, this is a really great time to consolidate debt. Mind you, you might want to spend a lot of money when Venus cruises through the 8th house as well. But all in all, again, wherever she goes, it's usually good. But it will put a focus on, taxes, debts, loans, the mundane day-to-day stuff. And also, if you are looking to get a bank loan or a mortgage or anything like that, maybe not a bad time to approach the bank, but do it around October 17th or later. I would not do it right now. Just wait until she moves into your 8th house, Taurus, and then it'll look a little bit better. The energy will shift a little bit more in your favor. Okay, so that's where I think the energy and the focus is going to be. 6th house, 7th house, and then middle of the month, it's going to, with Venus dipping into your 8th house, focus is going to start going on to 8th house matters as well. Let's see here. Let's talk about those luminaries. So eclipse, October the 2nd, right off the hop, final South Node eclipse in Libra for another 18 years. And the last time, if you want to think back, 2005, 2006, that's the last time we had these eclipse cycles in Aries and Libra. And this is the finale. This is the final one in Libra, and we will have our final one in Aries in March of 2025. So this new moon is technically a new beginning. And normally I would say plant those seeds of intention. And you can still do that, Taurus. I would just say hold them in your mind or hold them in your mind's eye. Because eclipses, you just don't know how they're going to manifest. And they could go sideways really quick. Because this is dusted with fate. Destiny is sort of like stepping in and nudging us on the right path. And it might be uncomfortable. At first, it might be very uncomfortable. And keep in mind, this might have already happened to you, Taurus. And maybe just now it's sort of like sinking in. A lot of people I know, this energy usually manifests before the eclipse date, but technically it does ripple out 6 months from now. So always keep that in mind. It's not so much about the date, like October the 2nd. It's about the time frame before and after the date, if that makes sense. So that's my recommendation. But at the end of the day, this is a new beginning. This is just a new beginning in your 6th house. And this is an opportunity to let something go so you can welcome in something new in this area of life. And Taurus, again, this could be about work. This could be about a relationship. This could, and again, when I say relationship, this could be love or business or a friendship or something to do with family. That could be a possibility as well. But this is, and I'm sorry to say, but this could be about a pet. Okay, I'm not going to divulge, but I think you can catch my drift. Pets go through cycles just like we do. And let's see here. This could also be about your diet. This is a really busy, heavy house. This is how you're being of service. So diet, health, routines, how you are taking care of yourself. Again, bringing in that balance and harmony into your life, Taurus, for you, not for other people, but for you. It's okay to be selfish. It's okay to start taking care of yourself. So I hope that kind of gives you some ideas, Taurus, of what this could be, but again, check your chart if you do know your chart to kind of get a better feel of if these eclipses are making any other aspects to your personal planet's placements point. Okay, now that full moon in your hidden 12th house, I think this does have a connection to April of 2024. Now, this is not an eclipse, but that's the last time we had a new moon in Aries, was April 2024, when we had that incredible solar eclipse that we could see across North America. I think it's something none of us will ever forget. But this is, I think, a culmination point. But Taurus, this is the 12th house. This is emphasizing endings and new beginnings. This is like that extra oomph of, hey, you gotta let something go in order to welcome in something new. And I really feel like this eclipse is going to push not only you, but all of us onto the path that we're meant to be, right? But I mean, it is a journey. It's not like, okay, this is the finale. It's an evolving journey of our life cycle, right? So this full moon in your 12th house, which technically does shine a light across the sky, emphasizing that 6th house that we talked about. But this could also be about spirituality. This could be about awakenings. This could be about dreams, solitude, just spending alone time, figuring out what you want. This could be about healing, again, connected to your 6th house of diet, nutrition, routine, how you're taking care of the body. This is also the house of your hidden gifts, talents, and abilities as well. So again, not a bad time to just retreat, take a step back, and reflect. Like, where is your time and energy and efforts going? Where is your love going? Where is your money going? Where is, you know, a really good time to sort of sit back and reflect whenever we have a full moon, or even a new moon for that matter, or any sort of energy emphasizing that 12th house for you, Taurus. Okay, so Mars in Cancer. I'm going to make a separate video about this because Mars is going to be in here for an extremely long stay. So be mindful of what starts to happen this month all the way until February and March of 2025. I know that's a long stretch, Taurus, but start, you know, if you're interested, start journaling about it now. Start noticing what you're noticing. This is in the house of your lower mind. So your mind could be racing with thoughts. That will stop, by the way, once Mars technically goes retrograde in December. But again, Mars is in a busy house. Like, the 3rd house is very, very busy. It's a very social house. It is also connected to our relationships. You know, the 3rd house is siblings, cousins, neighbors, neighborhood, transportation, how you get around, traveling. Normally it's short distance traveling, but I mean, there could be a connection to long distance traveling, but I would say more so staying local within your community. How you communicate. This is about text messages and emails and communication and talking and speaking and publishing and writing. And it's a very busy house. Let's just put it that way, Taurus. So I have no doubt you're energized up like the Energizer Bunny. But again, you will have the opportunity to pump the brakes here. And it is Cancer. I can't ignore that either. So this could have a flavor of your home life too. Energy putting towards your children, towards your parents, towards your elderly parents, you as a parent, anything to do with family or people that you live with literally under your own roof. There could be changes. Well, there definitely will be some changes with this extended retrograde in this area of life for you, Taurus. So I'll talk, like I said, I'll make a separate video about that, and I'll dive into a little bit more detail about that as well. Otherwise, let's see here. I think that is about it. We talked about Venus and then Mercury too. Mercury moves so fast around the zodiac too, but wherever Mercury goes, again, he's very always close to the sun. So he's helping to, again, infuse what we already talked about, the energy into your 6th house and 7th house at this time as well. Otherwise, also, I'm going to quickly say with Jupiter in your second house, you could have opportunities coming back from the past between now, this month, all the way until when he goes direct in February of 2025. You could have opportunities, something to do with upgrading your skill set, skills, talents, abilities, work, how you earn a living, money, how you make money, Taurus. That could be up for some change as well. Or sorry, opportunity, I should say, coming back around from the past over the next few months as well. All right, Taurus, enjoy the month of October, and we'll see you back here in November. Bye for now. Hey, Gemini, let's talk about where I think your focus is going to be this month. So as you can see, your Libra house, which makes lovely aspects to you, by the way, and your Scorpio house is lit up this month. So I think that's where the energy and focus is going to be for the month of October. Fifth house, all about kids, if you do have kids. Also, something just told me this could be about your pets as well. Focus could be on your pets if you do not have kids, or if you have both. I think that's where the focus could be this month. You know, fifth house is beautiful house. This is all about hobbies. This is all about creative endeavors, creative projects, like what lights you up, Gemini, from the inside out. The fifth house is amazing because this is where our spark of life begins. Like, you know, when we're a kid and what we want to do when we grow up sort of starts in this house. Love and romance starts blossoming in this house. It's sometimes where we meet our partner, of course, in conjunction with the seventh house, among other things. But the fifth house is beautiful. I think you're going to have a good month, Gemini. I have a really good feeling about this month, and we will get to that eclipse. But this is making such nice aspects to your planets, placements, points in Gemini, whatever you're watching for right now. So that is going to be one of your focuses. By the way, if you are open to meeting someone new, it could be full on this month. Okay, you definitely, I feel like you could be in the right place at the right time. Why? Because of those eclipses. This eclipse in particular is all about letting something go so you can welcome in something new. And it's sprinkled with fate, destiny, fortune type of thing. So, and plus you got Jupiter in your sign. You got Jupiter in your sign all year. So, I mean, it's that in itself is a blessing when you have Jupiter in your sign. It kind of gives you that overall protection, that extra protection, I should say. So I love, 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 love this month for you. And then once the sun pops into your Scorpio house, which is your sixth house, things are going to get busy. I have to admit that. And especially with Mercury popping into this house as well, and with Venus there as well, focus is going to turn to work, to day-to-day mundane stuff. Again, the sixth house does technically rule the house of pets as well. But I can also feel that in your fifth house as well, unless you work with animals. Maybe some of you work with animals. I do feel like it could be an important month with that as well. But yeah, your day-to-day is going to start picking up, I think. If you're a business owner, this is all about people who work for you, even if you're a manager or a leader and work for a bigger employer. This is about the workplace environment, work culture, things like that. Could be in the spotlight or in focus this month. Spotlight could also be on your health, Cancer. Or I don't know why I called you Cancer, Gemini. Focus could be on how are you taking care of your body. This is about health and diet and routine and exercise. Are you bringing in that harmony and balance into your life, Gemini? Because I have no doubt you are diving into so many new things and expanding on multiple different levels with Jupiter in your first house. I have no doubt about that. Even if your sun, if you're watching for your sun sign, Jupiter hitting your sun, that's a huge expansion of career, which could bring in a lot more busyness or upgrading or focusing on your skills, your talents, your abilities, or expanding your career in some way, shape, or form, or maybe starting a side hustle. So again, then you're doing like 2 or 3 jobs, right? So I do like this for you because I think this is going to be kind of a gut check of how am I taking care of myself? What am I putting into my body? Am I grabbing that McDonald's, or can I somehow start paper what do they call it? Paper bagging it, brown bagging it, whatever you call it. You know, can you pack yourself a lunch instead of going through drive-through? And again, I have nothing against drive-through. It's totally fine and convenient. But if you're doing it like every day or multiple times a day, you know, your body might be trying to tell you something, Gemini. So I'm just throwing it out there. I'm not trying to lecture you or anything like that. But that's where I think the focus is going to be this month for you. Now, with Venus moving through your 6th house, I'm going to throw it out there. If you are open to meeting someone new, you could meet somebody at work. That could be a possibility, or you could meet somebody through a work colleague or somebody sets you up or something like that. Just keep in mind with Venus moving through Scorpio, the person could be quite intense and quite deep. And there's nothing wrong with that, but it depends on, actually depends on where your Mars and Venus are in your chart, Gemini. What is your love language? Are you going to be able to connect with this person, or are they going to be a little bit too intense? So, or maybe their relationship starts off hot and heavy, and you just jump in bed with the person. You know, that could be a possibility as well. So just, again, I'm not saying all this stuff is bad. It's just for those of you that are looking for a relationship, the possibility is there, because wherever Venus goes, she attracts love, money, beauty, and harmony. So, and I forgot to mention, Gemini, this is really good actually for work. If you want to approach a boss for a raise, I would say do it now before she moves into your 7th house, your Sagittarius house. But even once Venus pops into there, that's not a bad time either to approach your boss or whoever for a raise. Or again, money could be coming your way in some way, shape, or form. Maybe the fall time in the Northern Hemisphere is when you normally get a raise. You know, that's actually quite common for some companies where raises come out in September, October, but then other companies, I know raises come out in like April timeframe, you know, in the springtime in the Northern Hemisphere here. So anyway, regardless, Venus moving through the 6th house is also helping to sort of smooth things over in this area of life as well. Okay, let's talk about those eclipses. Yeah, so, and actually these eclipses aren't in a challenging aspect to you, Gemini. I'm not saying they're going to be a cakewalk though, okay? Because it really depends on how this is hitting your chart personally. So let's start with that new moon right off the hop. This is the final solar eclipse in Libra at 10 degrees. If you know your chart, if you have anything around 10 degrees, you will feel this the most. Now, normally I would say plant those new moon intentions, but this one, I would just say hold it in your mind's eye, you know, just kind of leave it in your brain. The reason why I say that is because sometimes around these eclipses, especially new moon eclipses, our manifestation can go sideways because eclipses are expect the unexpected, and eclipses are dusted with fate, destiny, fortune. So they are nudging us onto a new path. They are helping us. And that means it's not always going to be easy because we're going to be reluctant to change. I feel like that's human nature. Maybe not so much for you, Gemini. You know, you are a mutable sign, so you're all about endings, right? You're okay with change. You're okay with moving into new energy. But I'm going to say it anyway, just in case this does resonate with you. But it is difficult to change, right? And this new moon is asking you to let something go in order to welcome in something new. Now, it could be at that North Node point in your 11th house, but it might not be. In general, I'm going to keep this open to just, you need to let something go in order to welcome in something new. So, so yeah, this eclipse is interesting because it's about new beginnings, but it's also emphasizing endings with that South Node. And this is the final one. If I have not already mentioned that, this is the final one. If you want to think back to 2005, 2006, that's the last time we had this eclipse cycle. So I'm not saying the same thing's going to happen, but it has this similar flavor to it. And we have our final eclipse in Aries in March, and then we move into a brand new eclipse cycle starting in January. And I'll make a separate video about that too, you guys. The Virgo Pisces eclipse cycle that we're moving into. Now, the full moon in Aries, I have a feeling this could be about sorry, let me back up here because I don't think I said this about the eclipse. Sorry, I apologize. I'm all over the map here. Okay, so that new moon, sorry if I did not mention this. This could be a new beginning in your kid's life. I just want to throw that out there because at the end of the day, this is a new beginning. This is an ending, a new beginning. So that eclipse on October the 2nd. And by the way, this isn't about the day, okay? This might have already happened. Eclipses manifest 2 months before the date and 6 months after the date. They have a really big span. So this final one could be, or could have already happened, could have been about your kids, romance, dating, affairs, creativity, self-expression, drama. This is about gambling. This is about, again, what lights you up, what I talked about in the beginning. What it's like that spark of life, of what you want to do the rest of your life. A great time also to start a side hustle. You know, you could get that spark of insight, right? Or maybe let a side hustle go and start something new. So sorry, I just wanted to give you some more examples there, because at the end of the day, this is still a new moon that's going to manifest for us again over the next 6 months or so. Okay, my apologies. Back to this full moon. Okay, full moon in Aries. What could this mean? This is happening in your 11th house of friendship circles, people you hang around with by, you know, your choice, community, memberships, your role within these friendship circles and groups and associations that you affiliate yourself with. This is also the house of your hopes, your wishes, your dreams. And this is the North Node, you guys. So this is where we are welcoming in something new. This is also about social media platforms in general. This is about the future, like setting those long-term goals. And this is anything that supports you and lifts you up. Hint, hint, Gemini, if there's people around you that are not lifting you up, that are Debbie Downers and bringing you down, I'm just going to say it, you let that go. You let that go, because then you're going to hold space for someone or a new group of people to come in and lift you up. So I'm just going to leave it at that, because I can go on a soapbox about that. I can go on a soapbox about a lot of things. This is also shining a spotlight down in that 5th house, which we already covered off. So, because again, the axes always work together, especially with full moons, because it's like shining a spotlight not only in the house, 11th house in this case, but across the street in your 5th house as well. Okay, and also this full moon in Aries, if I didn't already mention, there is a flavor here from April 2024, where we had that amazing solar eclipse. We could see it across North America. There could be a flavor coming in from April 2024, because this is a culmination point. This is an ending, sort of chapter 1 is done, moving on to chapter 2 now, or whatever the case may be. Now, this is not an eclipse. But again, I'm just saying the flavor is there because the degree point is identical. Back in April, it was 19 degrees. This month it is, what is it, 24 degrees. And it's making a wonderful aspect, an opportunity aspect actually, in Jupiter in your 1st house. So again, huge opportunity to expand your social circle, huge opportunity to expand your social following, or social media, or if you do YouTube land here, or whatever the case may be. This is your opportunity to expand that. Now, it's not going to happen overnight. Maybe it will, maybe it won't, but I'm just saying, I'm a realist. So like, I'm all about things happen for a reason, and things take time usually, but that does not mean you could hit your stardom to fame, or whatever you want to call that, Gemini. Also, I want to highlight with Jupiter going retrograde in your sign, like I already mentioned at the beginning of the video, this could be about opportunities, again, coming back around from the past. Not a bad time, Gemini, to kind of narrow your focus. I have no doubt you're kind of like been a squirrel, and you're like, I want to learn this, I want to learn this, I want to do this, I want to do this, I want to do 600 things. That's great. I have no problem with that. But when Jupiter goes retrograde, a really good time to sit back and be like, do I really need to take 16 courses? Do I really need to work 4 jobs? Like, what can I do to kind of like pull myself in? Because that eclipse in Libra is also about balance and harmony. Bringing that into your life, especially if you have a family. You know, you got kids and you got pets and animals and you got a partner or spouse, whatever. You're living with flatmates, whatever the case may be. Pull the energy in and be like, okay, you know, am I taking care of myself? Am I doing things for me? Am I doing things for other people? How can I focus on and make sure I stay healthy, for example? Now, Mars in Cancer is, you know, I mentioned it last month, very long stay in your second house, Gemini. We'll talk about that more in length. I'm going to make a separate video about that, but he continues to amp up your energy, motivation, passion, drive to something to do with your money, how you earn your money. You could also burn through money really fast here, so just keep that in mind. But how you make money, how you spend money, how you earn money, your talents, your gifts, your abilities. Focus is definitely going to continue to be on that over the next 6 months. So I'll make a separate video about that. We'll talk about that in a little bit more detail. Otherwise, Gemini, I think it's going to be a wonderful month for you. So enjoy, and we'll see you back here next month. Bye for now. Hey, Cancer, let's talk about where I think your focus is going to be for the month of October. So Cancer, lots of energy pouring into your 4th house and 5th house of Libra and Scorpio. So I think that is where some of your focus is going to be. And then, of course, we'll talk about the eclipses as well. So yeah, Cancer, you have been, let's put it this way, you have been through a lot of change. With eclipses in your 10th house and 4th house, I've no doubt that has not been easy, and you've had some big upheavals and big change since July of 2023 is when this eclipse cycle started. So anyway, I know I'm getting ahead of myself here, but that just sort of stood out to me now that this is wrapping up for you. Hallelujah. This is wrapping up for you. We have the final Libra eclipse this month, and then we have our final Aries eclipse in March of 2025, and that officially concludes this cycle. And think back to 2005, 2006. That's the last time we had these energies in particular. And then they're moving on, and we will not have this again for another 18, 19 years, Cancer. So I know a lot of you are like, thank God. Anyway, I'm getting ahead of myself here. So focus is going to be on 4th house. So home, family, foundation, your roots, ancestry. What does family mean to you? Who is family? Because family could also be our friends as well, and friendship circles that we hang out with, people that we bring into our lives. This could also be about your kids as well. Anyone that you live with, you know, real estate, mortgages, renovations, things like that could be the focus this month. But again, that should be wrapping up over the next 6 months, which I'll get into in a second. Now, once the sun pops into your 5th house, this is actually beautiful for you because this is making a really nice harmonious aspect to your Cancer planets, placements, points, whatever you're watching for right now. So your 5th house is actually a really nice, fun, light-hearted house. So this is about your kids in particular. This could also be about, this isn't the house of pets, but I am hearing for you in particular, this could be about pets. So I guess for those of you that don't have kids, maybe it could be about one of your furry friends or something like that. But it's going to be about joy and happiness and bringing back the fun into your life. This could be about romance and dating for those of you actually that are open to meeting someone new. With Venus moving through this 5th house, that's a huge marker of, well, not a huge, but a marker, a signature of possibly meeting someone new. Now, if you do meet someone new, they could be kind of intense. I'm just going to throw it out there because Scorpio is intense. So, you know, just keep that in mind. I'm not saying that's a bad thing. It just depends on your love language, right? Like, what do you prefer? What kind of person do you prefer, right? And if you like an intense person, awesome, you know, but it's possible. The possibilities are definitely endless with Venus moving through this 5th house of Scorpio for you, because wherever Venus goes, she attracts. She attracts love and beauty and money and romance and all that fun stuff into our lives. So actually, this is really good for your kids too. So if you do have kids, Venus moving through the 5th house should benefit them as well. So they will have a really nice, maybe something coming in good, like something good that happens for them or to them or whatever the case may be. Now, if you have any strifes or conflicts with your kids, this will help smooth things over in this area of life. That's another thing Venus helps with. Wherever she goes, she kind of smooths things over and brings people together, because she does represent Libra, the relationship sign, and also Taurus as well, the sign of beauty. So that is good news for your kids if you do have kids. But again, if you don't, this is about you. This is about your creative projects, creative endeavors, what lights you up. This could be about gambling as well. Just having fun, entertainment. Yeah, just having a good time. Just having a good time, Cancer. So I love this. I absolutely love this for you. So I think that's where some of the focus is going to be for you this month. Now, these eclipses, let's get back to. So technically, this is a new moon. We have a new moon solar eclipse in Libra, 10 degrees in your 4th house, a home family foundation. This is also could be about your parents, if your parents are still with us. You as a parent, this could be an evolution of you as a parent, or again, something to do with your parents or your parenting style, or again, anything to do with the home, whoever you live with, whatever home means to you, for example. Now, this is a new beginning. At the end of the day, this is a new beginning. Now, for some of you, this has already happened, because again, this is a cycle that started back in July of 2023. This is the ending. Like the next 6 months is sort of like the culmination point, the ending of this cycle. So, but I can't ignore that this is technically a new beginning. Normally, I would say plant those seeds of intention, but with eclipses, things could go sideways really fast, and it's sort of like expect the unexpected. We don't control eclipses. We have to just go with the flow. Just see what shows up in your life, see what leaves your life. Because at the end of the day, this is the South Node. This is all about letting something go for good, so you can welcome in something new at that, at the top of your sky, which is your 10th house. So again, this could be about your kids coming and going, definitely changes in the home. I have no doubt, Cancer, you've had changes in your home life over the last couple years, and that will probably wrap up. And for some of you, you could just have a little bit more change coming into your home life. Let's see here. So that is the solar eclipse, new moon. Now I want to, let's move to that full moon in Aries at the top of your sky. I have a feeling this could have a flavor from April of 2024, when we had that really incredible new moon solar eclipse in the sky. All of us in North America should have been able to see that eclipse. Very, very intense. This full moon is not an eclipse, but, and this is happening on the 17th of October, it has the flavor though, because it's at a very similar degree point, and it's hand in hand with Chiron. That new moon was also hand in hand with Chiron. So Cancer, for you, this is in a very public area of your sky. So this is about your status. Now, what I mean about status is, you know, what are you known for? You know, I have no doubt, Cancer, you've made some career changes, or moved into retirement, or whatever the case may be. Because this is all about welcoming something new in your career sector. If this is truly your career sector, okay? If your midheaven is in another sign, that's maybe a different conversation. But from a whole sign perspective, this is a new beginning in this area of life. Now, you could have gone from, going back to your status, you could have gone from, you know, say you're known for being a real estate agent, and you go from a real estate agent to being a baker, or owning a restaurant, or vice versa. Maybe you've been a homemaker for many, many, many years. And now it's time to get back into the workforce, get back into, you know, how do you want to be of service? How do you want to contribute to society? What do you want to be known for, Cancer? This could also mean change of relationships. I've also seen changes of relationships in the 10th house. So going from single to being with someone, like common law, or vice versa, being married and divorced. Now, I'm not saying all of you are going to get divorced, okay? But with Pluto in your 7th house since 2008, I have no doubt that you've had some intense experiences when it comes to your relationships, marriage, whether that was marriage or common law or whatever the case may be. That's ending, by the way. 5 more weeks of Pluto in your 7th house, and then he will move into your 8th house, which I'll talk about a little bit next month. But that's what I mean about status change, is this could also be about a relationship because it's hitting the big angles of your chart, Cancer. So no doubt about it, your life has changed drastically since 2008 from a partnership perspective, but also since 2023 with career or home, living situation, moving, whatever the case may be, moving careers, completely shifting careers. Maybe you're now a business owner or you want to move into owning a business, whatever the case may be. So culmination point, that's my point here. There's a culmination point in your career sector. This could also be about bosses changing out. So if you work for an employer, this could also mean changes at the top of the food chain, so to speak, especially if you work for a bigger organization. There could be leadership shuffling around. So you could get a new boss at this time as well. But yeah, Cancer, if you haven't already done so, big career moves could be happening for you over the next 6 months. I have no doubt about it. Yeah, so let's jump to Cancer Mars in your sign. But that is sort of it for the luminaries this month. But again, this could ripple out to all areas of life. It might not be about career. It might not be about home and family foundation. Might be about relationships or your children or something along those lines. But all in all, Cancer, you're going through some big changes, but they are ending. They are definitely wrapping up. Now, Mars in your sign, what I was going to add to that, Mars is making challenging aspects also to your career and home life, emphasizing the change aspect. Wherever Mars goes, he severs and ends. He's like a sword. So he's also amping up the energy of you have to let something go in order to welcome in something new, whatever that means for you. But again, I have a feeling it has to do with the 4th house, 10th house, what we talked about. Or again, changes in a parent's life or changes in a child's life, or changes as you as a parent, for example. But yeah, Mars is going to be in your sign, Cancer, for 6 months approximately. So I'm going to make a separate video about this. This is going to be really important for you and the early degree Leos, because having Mars in your sign for that long, woof, is going to make you spicy, Cancer. It's going to make you really spicy. And it's going to make you, I think it's going to make you want to slice and dice, like get rid of things that just are not working in your life. And you are the sign of home, family, foundation. So this amps up the energy at home that we already talked about. Changes in the home, people leaving the home, people coming into the home, renovations, things like that. So nothing to be scared about, Cancer. I think a lot of you are going to maybe find your voice. I think a lot of you are going to start telling it how it is. And you're going to go after what you want, not so much what everybody else wants. It's going to be about you. And out of all the damn signs, I think this is great for you. But anyway, I'll save that for another video. I'll dive into more examples. So stay tuned for that. Otherwise, Cancer, I think you are in transition. It's going to continue to change. It's going to continue to evolve. So just roll with it. Just go with it. Roll with it. Light is at the end of the tunnel. For those of you that have had a challenging time, things are coming to a close. Let's just put it that way. Otherwise, enjoy the month of October, and we will see you back here next month. Bye for now. Hey Leo, let's talk about where I think some of your focus is going to be this month. So as you can see, your Libra house and Scorpio house is lit up, bottom of your sky. So busy, busy, busy house, that third house, Leo. So this is all about the mind, communication, how you communicate. This could be technology, transportation, or how you get around. This could be about siblings, cousins, neighbors, extended family members, your immediate community, so to speak. This could also be about the internet, social media, anything to do with short distance trips or traveling as well. So very, very busy, busy house. That is going to continue to be the focus, I think, for you this month. And then once the sun moves into Scorpio, this is your fourth house of home, family, foundation, ancestry, your roots. This could be about your parents, mom, dad, authority figures in your life. This could also be about your kids, or maybe just a spotlight could be also on how, something to do with how you parent or how you are as a parent, or what does parenthood mean to you, Leo. And again, with Mercury there and with Venus there, that's going to kind of sweeten the pot and put more energy and emphasis and oomph into these areas of life as well. What I like about Venus, though, moving through the bottom of your sky is if you do have some struggles and difficulties in the home life, whatever that means for you, whether it's someone you live with, roommates, flatmates, whatever you want to call it, your kids, Venus will help smooth things over in this area of life. So that is good news, Leo. Also, if you have any issues that are happening at home, okay, I'll just leave it like that. Venus here will help get to the bottom of things gracefully. That's sort of what I'm seeing and feeling for you in particular. It'll help you drill down. Like Scorpio is like no bullshit. Scorpio wants to get to the problem. Like, what is the problem? What is the root? Let's go deep. Let's dig deep. So Leo, for you in particular, this could also have something to do with wounds from the past. Working with a counselor or working with a healer or hypnotherapy, or something to do with therapy and water. Some sort of therapeutic is coming in for you, Leo. So, yeah, sorry about that. I kind of went off because I'm getting messages for you, which is, I haven't had that yet with any other sign. But anyway, this is a really personal, sensitive transit, I feel like, for some of you. This might not resonate with all of you, but I hope that helped. Anyway, just get the help you need, or get the help a child needs, or a family member needs, or a mom or a dad or whatever. Get them the help they need, because with Venus here, it's really going to be beneficial. So again, Venus in Scorpio, September 22nd to October the 16th will be really beneficial here for you, Leo. So I apologize for that weird rant, but I was getting like really deep, like, I don't know, some sort of messages specifically for someone out there. But anyway, that's where your focus is going to be, Leo. And I didn't mean to turn dark there or focus on certain things, but I mean, I can't ignore messages when they come up. So also really good for beautifying the home, Leo. I can't ignore that. Like, you know, if you want to buy new pictures for the home, or paint, or redecorate, or just move furniture around to change the energy in the home, I think that will be really beneficial too, with Venus moving through the bottom of your sky. Also, for those of you open to meeting someone new, once Venus pops into Sagittarius, which is going to be the 17th, you know, this is your house of romance and dating and pleasure. Also the house of kids as well. So again, very beneficial for your kids with Venus moving through your 4th house, 5th house, beautiful energy. Also nice energy for romance and dating and having a good time, putting yourself out there, Leo. So that is very uplifting. I also feel like once the energy moves into Sagittarius, you're going to get your groove back. And I'm getting way ahead of myself here, but there's just some things you got to go through psychologically, mentally, whatever you want to call it, while all this energy is piling into Scorpio. There's something that's going to be bubbling up to the surface, but it's meant to be healed, acknowledged, healed, and let go. Say thank you. Yes, thank you for bringing up that memory. I no longer need it. Thank you. Release it. All that good stuff. Okay, let's talk about those eclipses, Leo. In particular, we already talked about your third house. So this is a new beginning. And Leo, think back to July of 2023. That's when this Aries Libra cycle started for all of us. So this is wrapping up. We have the final eclipse in Libra at 10 degrees. And we will not have this again for another 18, 19 years. Think back to 2005, 2006. That's the last time we had this eclipse cycle. And then we will not experience this again for another 18, 19 years. So this is an interesting eclipse because normally I would say plant those seeds of intention. I'm not telling people to do that, but hold it in your mind's eye. I mean, I should say I'm not recommending that. You do you, Leo. If you want to manifest on this eclipse, just expect the unexpected because sometimes manifestation goes out the window because eclipses are their destiny. It's destiny, fate, fortune stepping in. It's not really about us. It is, but it isn't, because it's about nudging us on to the right path, and that can be challenging. So we would normally resist that, especially Leo being a fixed sign. It's difficult sometimes to move out of that rut. You want to stay as it is, but these eclipses are asking us to move, to pivot, to change, to let something go in this area of life, the third house, so we can welcome in something new up in that ninth house. So this is about endings and new beginnings, more of an emphasis on endings than new beginnings. And keep in mind, Leo, this might have already happened to you. Like eclipses aren't really about the date, you know? So for example, this one is October the 2nd. It's not really about all this happening on one day. Eclipses can happen 2 months prior to the date and ripple out 6 months after the date, if that makes sense. So as you can see, we're always in eclipse seasons, right? Every 6 months, every 6 months, every 6 months. We're like moving and adapting and evolving, right? Because we can't handle, like, let's face it, we cannot handle change coming down the pipe sometimes that fast, right? So that's why it's an evolutionary experience for all of us, right? That's why they call it the journey. It's not the destination, it's the journey, all that stuff. Anyway, so Leo, I already talked about the third house. That's where you can expect a new beginning. Again, not today, but it's going to, maybe it already happened actually. Maybe it already happened for you. So again, third house, something to do with the lower mind, your thought process, noticing what you're noticing, how you communicate. This is about technology, transportation, siblings, cousins, neighbors, relatives. How do you get around? Social media, the internet, short distance travels and trips. Now, the full moon at sort of the top of your sky in that ninth house, I have a feeling has a connection to April of 2024. Now, this is not an eclipse. I know back in April, we had that really beautiful, intense solar eclipse in Aries at 19 degrees, hand in hand with Chiron. This full moon has the flavor of that as well because it's hand in hand with Chiron and it's at 24 degrees of Aries. Now it is flowing to your sign quite nicely, Leo. So if you have anything around 24 degrees of Leo, this is going to impact you directly, but it's a harmonious aspect. But it's still change, you guys. I don't want to say this is a cakewalk. It's still going to be like change. Sometimes can be easy, but sometimes can be challenging, right? Just think about starting a new job. You know, think back to that time. It's a struggle, right? It can be challenging. Or for example, going from single to a relationship and suddenly you're living with someone and all that fun stuff. Or having a child, right? Having a child is a wonderful experience, but is it easy? Hell no, right? So that's what I mean about change, right? It's like, sometimes it's hard to see the silver lining, but it's there. It's always there. It's the lens of life we look at, or the lens that we look at life through, if that makes any sense. But anyway, ninth house, what could this be about? So this is all about the house of the gods, Leo. This is about spirituality. This is about religion. This could be about legal matters. So if you have been dealing with legal matters since July of 2023, or somewhere between July 2023 to now, hopefully this is wrapping up for you, either now, this month, or over the next 6 months. This could also be about higher education, going back to school. Or again, depending on your age, you could be either wrapping up your studies or right in the middle of your studies, whatever the case may be, or apprenticing. Now you're moving into trying to get a job, right? Or whatever the case may be. Could be about traveling. So your travel access is definitely lit up like a Christmas tree, Leo. So this could be about long distance travel, short distance travel, your belief systems. This could also be about meeting people from all walks of life, all over the world. This is also the house of pushing yourself outside of your comfort zone, Leo, and taking that leap of faith. Now, Mars in Cancer, I'm going to make a separate video about this, Leo, but this is going to be such a long stay in your 12th house. And this is about you and Cancer. If you are an early degree Leo, forgive me, I do not have the degrees in front of me, but I will talk about it. I'm going to make a separate video about this. But your Cancer house and the early degrees of Leo are going to be very important over the next 6 months. We have Mars retrograde through here. So Leo, I don't know about you. I'm going to get personal here. I'm a Leo sun and my Mars is in Leo. I have not been sleeping at all. Anytime when something moves through my 12th house, I cannot sleep. And I love sleep. I could sleep all day, as you know, because we're big cats, right? We're like gigantic cats. And I'm not a Leo rising, I'm a Leo sun, and this still impacts me greatly. Like I swear to God, I have not slept through a night since Mars popped into Cancer, and that was September 4th. And it's driving me nuts. Like I'm just dragging my butt. Anyway, I'm going to have a soapbox moment here. Anyway, I just hope this passes, but this is 6 months. Like Mars is going to be here 6 months. So I want to hear from you. Any Leos out there? Are you having problems sleeping, or is it just me? Could be just me. I don't know. But anyway, Mars in here is just putting the extra emphasis, Leo, on introspection, solitude. Something's percolating. We're working on something in the background. Dreams, sleep time, like I was just whining and complaining about. Solitude is going to be very important for us over the next 6 months or so. So as I mentioned, I'll make a separate video about this and I'll dive a little bit more deeper and I'll list some examples so you can take a screenshot and keep this in the back of your mind or the back of your pocket, so to speak, over the next 6 months. But anyway, otherwise, that's about it, Leo. I think you're going to have a wonderful month. Again, allow things that are not working in your life, allow them to leave, let go. It is what it is. And then just know you're creating space to welcome in something new at the top of your sky in that 9th house. So I wish you a wonderful month of October, and we'll see you back here next month. Bye for now. Hey, Virgo, let's talk about where I think your focus is going to be for the month of October. So 2nd house, 3rd house is lit up for you, Virgo. So your Libra house and your Scorpio house is going to be where I think your focus is. So Right now, the sun is in Libra, so focus could be on relationships and how you relate one-on-one to individuals, whether this is in business or in love or in friendships or friendship circles, for example. This could also be about work, whatever work means to you, whatever you do on a day-to-day basis. Now, even if you're retired, what do you do to keep yourself busy? How do you interact with the outside world? Do you have like a passive income stream? That could also be about this as well. Even for those of you that are working a regular 9 to 5, this could also be about side hustles as well, which I'll get into because you are definitely in the eclipse cycle to do something along those lines. Second house is also about your talents, your skills, and your abilities, what you can bring to the table, or maybe you are considering upgrading, for example, or learning something new. Now, once the sun moves into your third house, and keep in mind, wherever the sun goes, Mercury follows, right? I don't usually talk about Mercury too much because Mercury just infuses that extra energy into these houses as well. But Mercury is your ruler as well. So Mercury is also emphasizing putting more oomph and communication into your second house and third house. So once the sun moves into Scorpio, your third house, this is going to put the focus on, third house is very, very busy. It's all about siblings, cousins, neighbors, extended family members. It's about your immediate local community. And it could also be about travel, could also be something to do with transportation or however it is that you get around. This could also be about technology and social media as well. And the lower mind, if I did not, this is all about like notice what you're noticing type of thing, or notice what you're thinking, what like thought patterns and things like that. Like what are the stories that you're telling yourself day in, day out? So now with Venus here, Venus is going to help smooth things over in this area of life. So if you've had any issues with regards to, say, siblings, cousins, neighbors, or technology, or whatever the case may be, Venus moving through this third house will help sort of smooth and soothe things in this area of life. Also, Venus in here, you might want to spend money on technology or communication devices or something to do with social media or the internet or vehicles or however you get around. So you might want to start throwing money at things like this. I just caution that because, yeah, wherever Venus goes, she also makes us want to spend, which is okay. You know what I mean? It's totally fine, but just something to sort of like putting a little bug in your ear about that, just in case you want to, like, you know, go to a technology store and go nuts and buy all these things. Just something to keep in mind. Okay, so I think that's where your focus is going to be this month. Now, the eclipse cycle, let's get into. We have the final new moon eclipse in Libra at 10 degrees. So this is a bigger cycle, Virgo, that has been going on since July of 2023. So think back to that time. We are now wrapping up. This is the final one. We're not going to see another eclipse in Libra in this particular alignment, meaning the South Node in Libra, we're not going to see for another 18, 19 years. So this is it, basically. This is the last one. And this is highlighting, letting something go so you can welcome in something new in that 8th house for you, Virgo. So as I mentioned, as I already nattered off before, this could have something to do with work, a side hustle, changing jobs, skills, talents, abilities, whatever that means for you, whether that's upgrading your current skill set or moving into, again, a new career, a new side hustle, whatever the case may be. This is a change that's happening. This could also be a change in an income stream. You're changing your financial situation. You could be more so relying on other people's money. So finding investments, finding people you can collaborate with, finding people that will line your pockets, so to speak, that will you'll benefit from other people. Like, how do I, like, my saying is usually like getting in bed with people, but I mean, don't take that literally. Like, it's about signing on the dotted line with a business partner or signing on the dotted line with a collaborator. Now, this could be about a love relationship, and maybe it's about them being the breadwinner. And then now you're kind of taking the backseat of being the secondary income. You're still bringing in income, but maybe you're not the primary anymore. So whatever that situation is, Virgo, there's definitely, these eclipses have been transforming your financial situation and your resources, your financial resources, since July of 2023. And then we have our final eclipse in Aries in March of 2025. And then that's it. Like I said, this cycle is closed out for another 18, 19 years. But I can't ignore, like, this is a new moon, right? So this is new beginnings, but the emphasis is on endings because of that south node. So I'm not saying it's all about endings. This technically is a new beginning. I normally say plant those seeds of intention, but Virgo, I just caution that. I'm just recommending to folks to keep it in your mind's eye versus literally trying to manifest, because expect the unexpected with eclipses. Usually when people try to manifest around eclipses, they manifest in all different kinds of ways. So I'll leave that up to you, but I would say this is more so a new moon, just kind of like you can reflect how, you know, what's been going on since 2023, and just keep it in your mind of sort of what you want to take shape or take hold in the next, you know, let's say 6 months or so until the next eclipse cycle. Now that full moon in Aries, again, highlighting another financial house. So full moons, though, shine a spotlight on the opposite house as well. So this could have something to do with, again, work. We already talked about it, work, your skill set, talents, abilities. This could be a change in your partner's income. So whether this is in business or in love, the spotlight could be on them in some way, shape, or form. This could be about taxes, debts, loans, inheritance, the shadow. This could be about something bubbling up that was not, you weren't aware of, and now you have to address it. Now you have to deal with it. This could have something to do with property matters. Anything to do with shared resources could be coming up at this time. Also a really good time for healing, because I can't ignore that it's hand in hand with Chiron. And also this might have something to do with April of 2024, when we had that intense solar eclipse in Aries at 19 degrees, hand in hand with Chiron, way back in April, and we could see it visibly across North America, right? So I have a feeling, now this is not an eclipse, but again, this is the full moon to that eclipse, to that new moon back in April. So this is technically an ending and culmination point in this area of life, and then you're just moving into something new. And again, this might be just as simple as like consolidating debt or relooking at your finances or looking more closely at where is your money going, you know, especially if you're supporting somebody or supporting a family, right? Where is my money going? Or somebody, if you're being supported by somebody, this could also be coming up at this time as well. There could be some adjustments or reassessments at this time as well. Okay, what else? Mars. Yeah, Mars is going to be in your 11th house for a long time. So a 6-month transit, technically. I mean, Mars will pop into your Leo house for a little stint there in December, but at the end of the day, or sorry, I should say November. Next month, he'll be popping into Leo. But the retrograde, the bulk of the retrograde will be happening in this 11th house. So this is all about, I'm going to make a separate video, but this could be about slicing and dicing, getting rid of people that just don't lift you up anymore. This could definitely be changes to your friendship circles, the people that you hang out with. You know, maybe you're known to hang out with this kind of group of people, and now it's time to move on, you know, because you've evolved, you've changed, Virgo. Especially with this eclipse cycle. I'll make a separate video about it, but this is huge for you. We're coming into an eclipse cycle where the spotlight is going to be on you personally, professionally, And I have no doubt your life is going to be changing quite drastically. You just had an eclipse in your 7th house last month. This is just the beginning of a brand new cycle that is starting for you, Virgo. So this is going to be very important for you and the Pisces out there. Anyway, I'm getting ahead of myself here, but with Mars here, like I can just see that. I can see a change of your long-term goals and commitments and what you want to manifest in your life. And you will be making a lot of changes in this area of life. This is also the house of social media, internet, putting yourself out there. So you could be rethinking or be looking at that over the next 6 months. Again, it might happen this month, it might not. But regardless, there's going to be a lot of introspection, and solitude, I think, is also going to be important for you as well, Virgo, because the Mars will touch your 12th house as well, which emphasizes endings and new beginnings, and you're getting ready to start a new cycle, so to speak. But anyway, I'm getting ahead of myself. I'll make a separate video about that, about the eclipse cycle, the new eclipse cycle in your sign and in Pisces, and also with the Mars retrograde that is technically beginning this month. So pay attention to what happens, especially again with your friendship circles, groups, people that you hang out with, and your role with these groups as well, I think is going to change. So there's definitely a lot of focus put on that 11th house. And because it's Cancer, I can't ignore, this is for everyone out there. Cancer technically rules home, family, foundation, right? So there could be changes on the home front. There could be some conflict on the home front. Nothing to be scared or to be feared. It is what it is. It's happening for a reason, this retrograde particularly in Cancer. But by the end of this transit, I have no doubt, again, we will see the silver lining why things happened the way they did. So otherwise, Virgo, I think it is going to be a great month for you, and I wish you all the best, and we'll see you back here in November. Bye for now. Hey, Libra, let's talk about where I think your focus is going to be for the month of October. And before I forget, I want to wish you a happy birthday, Libra. If you are celebrating a birthday this month, I want to wish you all the best in the year ahead. And let me tell you, Libra, if you have a birthday on or around October the 2nd, it doesn't have to be exact, but if it is exact, be prepared for an entire year of change and upheaval and opportunity and new beginnings and endings and all the mixed emotions mixed in between. Yeah, they're showing me like a mixed batter, like a cookie batter. So Libra, why do I say that? Because solar year ahead, I actually do those type of readings. And I couldn't help but just notice that, like for those of you that have a birthday around that time, because that's a snapshot of your whole year ahead. That sets the tone for the whole year ahead, Libra. Now, I'm not saying that's a bad thing. It just means lots of change, lots of upheaval, lots of like this or that or this or that, and things changing on a dime. So just be prepared for that, because you'll have that energy with you all year long. And again, that's only if you have a birthday around the 2nd of October, especially those of you leading up to this eclipse. But even if you have a birthday, say up until, I'm going to say even October, maybe the 7th, 8th, 9th, you know, you'll have a little bit of this energy with you, but I mean, the energy will be waning after that. But anyway, so the focus, Libra, is going to be on you this month until the sun moves into your 2nd house of Scorpio. And I will talk about that eclipse cycle, because you also have a new moon here that's obviously emphasized by that eclipse. So this is like new beginnings times 10, times 100. So very beautiful, intense energy coming your way, Libra. Now, once the sun and Mercury and actually Venus right now is in your 2nd house of income and earnings and money, Libra, this could be about your job, your career, whatever you do on a day-to-day. This is really good for earning money, making money, whether you own a business, run a business, work for somebody else. This is, regardless, wherever Venus goes, she's attracting in money and benefits and love and harmony and all that good stuff. So very nice energy. I also think that's where your focus is going to be. Your talents, your skills, your abilities, how you earn a living. If you're looking to change up your job, Libra, actually now is a really good time to interview. If you do have any job interviews, really great time when the Sun and Mercury and especially Venus in your second house looks really good as well. Okay, otherwise, oh, and also second house is material possessions as well. So focus could be on them or accumulating more possessions. One caution is with Venus moving through the second house, we want to spend, spend, spend. Wherever she goes, we want to spend money. So second house of material possessions, you might want to buy more things. So just a cautionary note there. If you're not looking to buy any more stuff, something to keep in mind. Okay, let's talk about the eclipses. So this is the final eclipse, Libra, in your sign, 10 degrees. If you know your chart, great. And if you don't worry about it because you'll feel this regardless. 10 degrees of Libra, final eclipse. We will not see this particular eclipse cycle for another 18, 19 years. Think back to 2005, 2006. That's the last time we had this eclipse cycle. So I'm not saying the exact same things are happening or going to happen, but it gives you kind of a flavor of what could be wrapping up. Because at the end of the day, this energy's been with us since July of 2023, and we're moving out of this energy. So the final eclipse in Aries is going to be March of 2025, and then that's it. We're in a brand new eclipse cycle, technically starting January 2025, where this is going to impact your 6th house of Pisces and your 12th house of Virgo, and I will make a separate video about that, Libra, so stay tuned for that. But anyway, this is about you, Libra. At the end of the day, this is about you. This is endings and new beginnings. This is an emphasis on letting something go. Might not be tangible, it might be, but this might be about letting something go about you, your identity, how you enter the world, how you walk into the world, how you present yourself to the world. This could be something to do with your physical appearance, changing up your physical appearance. This could be something to do with the body, your health, you know, the health of the body. How are you taking care of the body? Also, another thing in your first house, anything that happens in your first house could ripple out to multiple areas of life, because this is also the house of major life themes. So this could be about your career. This could be about your home life. This could be about your relationship sector as well. I have no doubt, you know, they're not all of you, but some Librans out there, and Aries for that matter, have let go of a relationship. That's totally fine. With the South Node in Libra, a lot of us are letting go of relationships, whether that's a work relationship, whether that's a job, whether that's a friend, whether that's a family member, whether that's a love or a business partnership. There's a lot of letting go here because that's the evolutionary cycle of not only our lives, but these eclipses. They're asking us to let something go so we can make space for something new. So yeah, this new moon can be quite personal, Libra. And like I said, for some of you, you're not going to like be able to touch it or feel it or see it. It could be about you, like quite literally personally about you, something that you have to change or let go of in order to bring in something new or present yourself to the world differently. Again, think back to 2005, 2006. We had this exact same eclipse cycle. So that'll maybe give you a hint or some clues or a pattern or some themes that could be coming up. So endings and new beginnings there. Now that full moon in your 7th house. Now this is not an eclipse, but it is activating that April eclipse that we had in April, Aries at 19 degrees hand in hand with Chiron, and this full moon, guess what, is hand in hand with Chiron. It might not be the same degree point, but I mean, 19 degrees to 24 degrees is pretty darn close. I mean, some astrologers would consider that a conjunction depending on the orbs they use. So I think this could have something to do with April. So think back to April of this year What was happening in your life? Or what did you start? Was there anything new? Was there some sort of new change? Big or small? It doesn't matter. That's a change. You changed the energy. You pushed over that domino, and it's going to create a domino effect from an energy perspective, Libra. So this is definitely highlighting your 7th house of marriage, commitment, relationships in love, business, or friendships. This is also about negotiations and agreements as well. But it's also shining, again, a spotlight on you. Whenever we have a full moon, they light up both axes, okay? So again, emphasizing you. Like, how are you going to change, Libra? What is the next chapter in your life? That's yet to be written. The future is yet to be written. Yes, there's some things that along the way we signed up for, if you believe in that, but the future at the end of the day is yet to be written by us. We're the ones that have free will. We're the ones here living this experience. So this is huge for you, Libra. I have no doubt you've had a lot of change in the last couple years. And yes, that's going to continue to flow out for the next 6 months or so. But this energy is moving on. Just know that the energy is moving on to different areas of life coming January of 2025. Also, I'm going to make a separate video about this too, Mars retrograde through Cancer. So Mars is at the top of your sky, Libra. So this is also, this is about change of career. You know, maybe this has already happened because, again, the eclipses affect all areas of life, especially when they are in the 1st house. So maybe some of you have already changed careers. Maybe some of you have already had changes in the home life. Maybe some of you have changed up your parenting style or how you parent, or what does parenting mean to you have already changed. This could also be something to do with your kids or something to do with your parents as well, maybe changes in their life. But regardless, Venus at the top of the sky in your 10th house, this is more possibilities, more change coming in through the career sector. You're going to be laser focused on your career. This is going to give you the power, the energy, the motivation to go after what it is that you want in your career. But I have to warn you, caution you, is that Mars is making a difficult aspect to your planet placements points, whatever you're watching for in Libra. But it just means more change. Like, Mars here is helping you slice and dice and get rid of things that are not working. Same with these eclipses. They are helping you get rid of things or people or places that are no longer fit for your life, and you got to move on. That's okay. You know, it is what it is. I know it's difficult. I know it's challenging, but it'll get more challenging if you resist it. If we resist these changes, it gets very difficult. But if we just allow it to flow, it gets a little bit easier. I know it's easy for me to say, but the silver lining is always there. It's just the lens we look at life. That's sort of what it comes down to, is how we look at situations. So do we look at things, the glass is half full, or the glass is half empty, or life is working against me, or life is working for me? Which way do you choose? What is your lens, for example? So Mars up here also can make bosses quite spicy. So you might notice if you do have a boss, maybe you're the boss. So if you are the boss, Libra, you're going to be spicy. So be mindful of how you're projecting onto your staff, your employees. Now, if you have a boss and they start getting spicy, you know, depending on, I get it, like, I don't want to say you just have to let it lie, but they might get a little bit more fired up. There could also be changes with management at this time as well if you do work for another employer, because again, Mars is a sword. He severs, he slices and dices wherever he goes. Also, this is the axis of parents, right? So mom, dad, authority figures in your life, which also includes bosses, Libra. So I'll dive into that a little bit more deeply afterwards, but regardless, or in another video, I mean, regardless, focus is also going to be on career over the next 6 months. This is a very, 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 very long stay. He will dip into Leo next month for a short stint, and I'll talk about that next month. But the focus is more so going to be on this Cancerian house. And for you, this is the 10th house, but it could also bleed into home, family, foundation as well, and people that you live with, Libra. All right. Otherwise, I wish you a wonderful month ahead, Libra, and we will chat to you next month. Bye for now. Hey, Scorpio, welcome to October. So let's see where I think let's take a look where I think your focus is going to be this month. And if you are celebrating a birthday this month, Scorpio, I want to wish you a happy, happy birthday and a fantastic year ahead. So I think, well, Scorpio, you are preparing for your birthday cycle, actually. You got a lot of energy in that 12th house, including an eclipse, including a new beginning, yet in your house of endings, which we'll talk about. So, you know, I think focus is going to be on solitude. You're going to have like double emphasis on endings, on letting something go in order to welcome in something new. Focus is going to be on where is your time, your energy, your efforts, your love, your money, whatever you call it. Because love and money are just energy, right? So where is all that being focused in your life? Like, this is a really good time for introspection, right? This could also be about awakenings, spirituality, dreams, and healing, and also your hidden gifts, talents, abilities. I feel like for you, Scorpio, you might even have some like experiences, like, what do you call them? Like encounters. Like, I don't want to scare people, but like, I feel like the veil is really thin here for you in particular, because this is your 12th house and there's so much energy there. Plus you have an eclipse there. So it's like the veil between the worlds is really thin, similar to Halloween. I'm getting that same feeling. Like Halloween, the veil is really thin. And I'm getting that feeling for you, Scorpio. So I feel like it's also a month of synchronicity, of being in the right place at the right time, and just odd experiences. You know, nothing scary, but it's just you're seeing things that, you know, could be hard to explain, just like how I'm struggling to try to explain it. But anyway, that's definitely going to be a focus, and keep that in mind when I start talking about this eclipse as well, because this eclipse is just going to amp up this energy. Now, once the sun moves into your sign, along with, well, Venus is, Venus is there right now. So, and of course, I don't talk about Mercury a lot because Mercury follows the sun, and Mercury just amps up the chatterbox energy with the sun. The sun shines the spotlight, and then Mercury just amps up the busyness and the chatter and the technology and the jabbering and all that fun stuff. So anyway, energy is going to pour into your first house, emphasizing a brand new solar year ahead for you, Scorpio. Whether you're watching for your rising or your sun sign, it doesn't matter. This is your new solar year ahead. So set that tone, Scorpio, of what you want to sort of like walk into your season, setting the tone of what you want to manifest over the next year or so. And we will, let me think here, we'll also talk about it with your new moon as well. That's when you plant those seeds of intention. So speaking of that, and yes, the focus is going to be on you, if I didn't already emphasize that. So this is about you, your personality, your identity, how you're known in the world, how you want to walk into the world, how you want to present yourself to the world. This is all about you. This could also be about diet, health, nutrition as well, and how you're taking care of your body. Now, going into this, you know, eclipse cycle, let's talk about that. So this is the final new moon solar eclipse in Libra at 10 degrees. This is a final one. This is the last one we're going to have in this particular nodal cycle for 19 years. Now, what I normally say on new moons is plant those seeds of intention. But this one in particular, I'm asking folks to just kind of like chill out, hold your intentions in your mind's eye, but don't do anything intense, try to manifest. And if you do, that's great. Let me know how that works out. Because I know when people try to manifest on a eclipse, things go sideways usually. Like expect the unexpected tenfold, because you just can't control eclipse energy. You don't know what you're going to get. And that's the whole point, because eclipses, they're dusted with magic. They're dusted with fate, fortune, destiny. Destiny is stepping in and nudging us. Okay. And in this case, it's an ending. It's emphasizing an ending, so we can welcome in something new in that 6th house area of life, Scorpio. So that's my recommendation. But again, you do you. If you feel called, especially in your 12th house, if you feel called to manifest and set those seeds of intention, then do it. You do you, okay? Everybody's different. Everybody experiences these eclipses differently. And this is in a hidden, more of a hidden spirituality house for you anyway, Scorpio. But this is about endings and new beginnings in your 12th house of endings. So it's just like this double whammy of endings. But at the end of the day, I can't ignore that this is a new moon. So I nattered off in the beginning there, like this is a new beginning with, you know, awakenings, spirituality, spiritual growth, your dreams, solitude, healing, your hidden gifts, talents, and abilities, things like that. This is a new beginning. Now, the full moon in Aries. Now, this is not an eclipse on the 17th, but it does have the flavor of April 2024, when we had that beautiful, intense new moon solar eclipse in Aries at 19 degrees, hand in hand with Chiron. And I can't help but ignore, you know, this full moon is at 24 degrees of Aries. That's pretty darn close. Most astrologers would call that a conjunction, depending on the orb system they use. But this is, again, hand in hand with Chiron. So, and in your 6th house, Scorpio. So this could quite literally be about healing, whether behind the scenes healing, or spirituality healing, or physical, like healing the physical body could be coming up at this time as well. So there could be a connection to April. Like, what did you start back in April? This is technically a full moon, an ending, a culmination point in this area of life, so you can welcome in something new, or start something new, I should say. So the 6th house is a very busy, heavy day-to-day house. It is the house of how am I being of service. It's also about just anything to do with your day-to-day habits, routines, your duties, your responsibilities, running the kids here, running the kids there, running the parents there, or the dog or the cat or whatever. It's a very busy house. It's also the house of your work environment. If you own a business, run a business, if you're a manager, this also represents the people that work for you. There could be changes in the work environment at this time, either big changes or little changes, but regardless, there's going to be some sort of change in the workplace, whether you run a business or work for somebody else, because this also is the culture, like workplace culture as well. This is also the house of pets. This is also the house of your habits, your routines, your how you're taking care of your body, exercise, things like that. So lots of things could be coming up around this full moon, Scorpio. I know that was a big laundry list, so hopefully at least something resonates with you there. Okay, what else? And okay, I can't remember if I mentioned this or not, but think back to 2005, 2006. That's the last time we had eclipses in Aries and Libra in this particular configuration, where the North Node was in Aries, South Node in Libra. Forgive me if I already said that. I apologize, because these videos, I'm just talking so much, so forgive me. But, if you want a flavor of maybe, you can reflect back on what's been happening for you since July of 2023, when this eclipse cycle started, and you can think back to 05, 06, what happened to you then back then, because there could be sort of another layer of themes here, not the exact same thing, but some sort of similarities that you can reflect back on. Now, and again, we're not going to have this eclipse cycle for another 18, 19 years. So yeah, this is definitely, we're getting close to the finish line here. Now, Mars in Cancer, I'm going to make a separate video about this because Mars will be going retrograde in Cancer starting in December. So we're not there yet, but Mars is in shadow starting this month. So take note of what starts to happen in this area of life in particular. Now, Scorpio, you are ruled by Mars. So I think this will impact, out of all the signs, whether you're watching, it doesn't matter, for your sun sign, rising sign, moon sign, or anything else you want to watch for. This will impact you and Aries the greatest because you're both ruled by Mars. So do pay attention to what happens over the next 6 months. I know that's a big ask, but at the end of the day, what you could do is just, once March comes around, I'll remind you, reflect back to this point in time right now. What has happened since October 2024 to March of 2025? That's this big window of time where Mars is going to be going back and forth in Cancer and just dipping into your 10th house of Leo. So again, I'll make a separate video about this, but I'll give you some breadcrumbs here about this transit. Regardless, Mars is here, okay? He's already here. He's been here since September the 4th, okay? And he will be here until November the 2nd. He's going to pop into Leo, a very short stint. And then in December, Mars is going to start going retrograde. So I'll talk about that next month, what that means with Mars in your 10th house of Leo. But this 9th house is where the emphasis is going to be. So 9th house is the house of the gods. And I do have to mention, Mars is making a really nice aspect to your planet's placements points because it's in a fellow water sign like you, Scorpio. So actually, this is going to be, I think, a nice transit, a good transit for you and Pisces and Virgo and Taurus as well. I don't think it's going to hit you as hard as some of the other signs. And I know I'm laughing. I'm just chuckling. It's totally fine. It is what it is. I'm not laughing at them. It's just, yeah, I just realized I think this will be an easier transit for you out of all the signs, but still challenging because this is your planet. But anyway, 9th house, religion, spirituality, long distance traveling, anything to do with connecting with people all over the world, whether that's you traveling or, again, we have access to it right in front of us, right? Social media land, YouTube land, whatever you want to call it. We can get connected to people all over the planet, all over the world. Now, this could, if you're in, I know this isn't for everyone, but if you're in some sort of legal dispute or legal battle, again, Mars is going to be in here for quite some time. So it should, depending on when it started or depending on the circumstances, again, this might be a long battle, so to speak, because Mars is the warrior planet, right? But at the end of the day, he is flowing nicely to your sign. It's just, there's a lesson here that's playing out from a higher perspective. And I also heard a higher dimension, meaning like a higher purpose. There's a reason why this is happening for you, Scorpio. So anyway, that's just kind of a tidbit. Like I said, I will dive into that a little bit more deeply with a separate video, hopefully released this month. So stay tuned for that. Also, I just want to quickly go back. I think I forgot to mention this. Venus is going to be in your sign as well right now, September the 22nd to October the 16th. So while Venus is in your sign, you're the great attractor. Wherever Venus goes, she attracts love, money, beauty, harmony into your planet's placements points, whatever you're watching for. So Scorpio, if you're single and looking for love, I would say put yourself out there. There's a beautiful window of time right now, I would say until October the 16th. So if you haven't already done so, put yourself out there. You definitely could meet someone. You could attract someone to you at this time. And again, not just love, but like money, all that good jazz, all that good stuff as well, especially with Jupiter in that 8th house. You could have royalties coming back to you, or benefits or cash or something coming back around to you over the next several months as well, because Jupiter is going to bring back around blessings because he is retrograde in Gemini starting on the 9th, and he does not go direct until February 2025. So Jupiter is all about bringing blessings back from the past, which is really beautiful, being in a financial house, Scorpio. So otherwise, I wish you a beautiful month ahead, Scorpio, and we'll see you back here next month. Bye for now. Hey, Sagittarius, let's talk about where I think some of your focus is going to be for the month of October. So as you can see, your Libra house and your Scorpio house is going to be lit up this month. So that's your 11th house, 12th house. So 11th house, this is a really nice, light-hearted house, similar to the 5th house. And that happens to be where the eclipses are for you, Sagittarius, which I'll get into in a second. But focus is going to be on groups, friendship circles, people that you hang out with, community, your role within these groups or associations or people that you hang out with. This is also the house of your hopes, your wishes, your dreams, your long-term goals and commitments for the future. This is also the house of social media. So I have no doubt maybe some of you are letting go of some platforms around this time, or maybe you already have since July of 2023 let go of some social media platforms that no longer fit your lifestyle, or maybe flat out pissed you off, one or the other, Sag. This is the house about surrounding yourself with people that lift you up, Sagittarius, not so much bring you down, because I'm telling you right now, the universe is asking you to let go of anyone around you, whether this is a friend, family member, anyone who's a Debbie Downer and just spewing toxic venom all over you. Like, let them go. Like, you know, like, I mean, friends, I hate to say this, but not all of us are meant to be in a friend's life our entire lifespan. Sometimes, yes, absolutely. But sometimes not. Like, the answer is no. And we don't need to put up with it, Sag. So I know I'm on my soapbox here about this, but this is to me a clear signal of and a signature of you got to let something go in this area of life, and you have to surround yourself with people that lift you up. Now the choice is yours. We do have free will, and you can continue to surround yourself with negative Nancys, but I'm seeing if you continue in that cycle, you're not going to be able to evolve and grow that you want to in the direction that you want to. They're really going to hinder you and, you know, get in your mind, I'm seeing. So just something to be mindful of, Sag. And if that doesn't resonate, then, you know, totally leave it be. But to me, this is like just a glaring signature. So that's going to be one of the focuses. And I'll come back to this because the eclipse is there. So that's why I did my little soapbox lecture there. So anyway, once the Sun and Mercury pop into your 12th house, where actually Venus is right now, this is definitely more of a hidden house. And this is more so about solitude, going within, taking a break, taking a time out, getting caught up with rest. Or don't be afraid to, like, give yourself permission to sleep in, maybe call in sick a day, give yourself a mental health day, whatever you want to call it. Or if you have an extra PTO day, you know, vacation day, whatever, take it. Especially if you need it, Sag. This is about recharging your batteries. This could also be the focus for those of you into spirituality or the metaphysical world. This is a really great time to, again, introspection. This is a very quiet house of that as well, meditation and getting into a bedtime routine or bedtime practice. And at the end of the day, this is also preparing you for your new cycle that's coming up as well, Sag. So your birthday season is right around the corner. Also with Venus here in the 12th house, just sweetens the pot of this 12th house energy of like pampering, of sleeping in, maybe indulging on or buying luxurious sheets or towels or bath or whatever you're into, you know, whatever your pleasures or luxuries are to you, Sag. It's about kind of indulging in that as well. Also, I'm going to put it out there for those of you, you know, looking to meet someone new. Venus moving through the 12th house could also indicate like dating somebody in secret. So this energy was with us middle of September. This will be with us middle of October. But yeah, Venus here can also mean secret love relationships or affairs. Now, I'm not accusing anyone or pointing the finger. It's just, again, it's a signature I see with Venus moving through the 12th house is a possibility, people. I'm not trying to panic you or break up marriages. The energy's there, okay? So don't freak out. But hey, if you're single, there you go. There you go. Okay, so that's where I think your focus is going to be this month, Sag. Again, just preparing for that new birthday cycle. Okay, I want to come back to these eclipses because this is big, big news, obviously. Now, keep in mind, eclipses are not so much about the day. So it's not so much about October the 2nd that something's going to happen. This might have already happened, Sag. Like eclipse energy, we sometimes experience this or it manifests 2 months prior to the date, in this case, October the 2nd, or it will ripple out 6 months from now until the next eclipse cycle. So we're always in eclipse energy. It's just that around the eclipses, so September and October are intense. We're heavy into eclipse season. So yes, things can change on a dime. Our minds can change on a dime. Things can happen rapidly, quickly, drama, chaos, change, you name it. A wrench being thrown into plans, whatever the case may be. Schedule light. You know, hopefully I said that last month, but yeah, don't schedule yourself packed day to day around the eclipses. Like give yourself room for the miracles that could be coming in, the opportunities that could be coming in for you, Sag. So I do recommend that. You don't have to follow those rules and guidelines, but I'm just kind of giving you something to think about, some tidbits. So again, this is a new beginning. At the end of the day, this is a new moon. I usually say plant those seeds of intention, but this is eclipses. I usually don't recommend it. It's sort of like, that's fine. Hold them in your mind's eye, but don't try to manifest them. Like, don't try to actively do a new moon ritual, I guess. It would be my recommendation. Now, again, maybe some people are okay with manifesting on an eclipse, but from my experience, it usually goes sideways. For good or for bad, okay? So because eclipses are not about bringing you what you want, it's about what you need in this journey to experience, Sag. Now, for you, this is actually hitting some nice angles of your chart. The 11th house and the 5th house is where these eclipses have been activating since July of 2023. So think back to that time, the story that's been evolving over the past 2 years, because this will wrap up in March of 2025. This is the final one. But at the end of the day, this is a new beginning. But it's also emphasizing endings because the South Node is here, if that makes sense. So it's about letting something go so you can welcome in something new at that fifth house North Node, which I'll get to in just a second here, Sag. So new beginnings, endings, and what was I going to say? Oh yeah, think back to 2005, 2006. That's the last time we had this eclipse cycle, in particular with the North Node in Aries and the South Node in Libra. So think back to that time. I'm not saying the exact same thing is going to happen, but the flavor is there, if you catch my drift. Like there could be some similarities that are coming down the pipe at this time that mirror back in 2005, 2006. Now, the full moon that is, and if I haven't already been clear, sorry, I already nattered off what the 11th house is about. So again, this could be, again, new friendship circles coming in, new goals, new hopes, new wishes, your new dreams. Again, a social media presence change, changes in the platforms that you use, or whatever the case may be. That this is still a new beginning in this area of life. It's just going to manifest in its own way for your highest good, Sagittarius. It's not working against you. It's just eclipses are always dusted with fate, destiny, fortune. This is when the universe steps in and kind of nudges us, whether we like it or not, nudges us or circumstances that pressure us to make changes in our lives, in particular, these areas of life. Now, the full moon in your 5th house, which is beautiful, by the way, this eclipse cycle is making really nice aspects to you, by the way, depending on what you're watching for Sagittarius. So the full moon is making wonderful aspects to Sag, and then the Libra new moon eclipse is making opportunity aspects to your whatever you're watching for right now. So this eclipse cycle is easier on you, I would say, from a sign perspective, but again, eclipses are not easy. I know that it's not a cakewalk, right? So this full moon has a flavor on the 17th of something to do with April of 2024. This is when we had that beautiful, intense new moon solar eclipse in Aries at 19 degrees, hand in hand with Chiron. Now, this full moon's not an eclipse, but it has the flavor of that eclipse because it's at 24 degrees, pretty darn close to 19, and it's also hand in hand with Chiron. So at the end of the day, this could be for all of us something to do with healing on multiple levels. Now for you, this is your 5th house. This is a beautiful house, by the way. The 5th house is very fun and lighthearted. This could be about your kids, could be about children in general or grandchildren. This could be about hobbies, creative projects, creative endeavors. This is the house of the spark of love. This is about romance and dating. Not only that, this is about what we're passionate about, what lights us up from the inside out. You know, what do we want to do? You know, whether it's a hobby, a side hustle, a career. When we're younger, you know, this is where that spark comes from. Like, what do you want to do when you grow up? You know, now that doesn't mean we can't have several career changes in our lifetime. So again, there's something new being born here in your 5th house, especially with the North Node here, Sag. So, and again, if you are open to meeting someone new, I'm just thinking, like, I would think you maybe already met that person, but if you haven't yet, it could be happening around this full moon, possibly. Again, I would have to see other signatures in your chart, but it is the 5th house of romance and dating. This is where it starts, so to speak. This is where the beginning of the relationship starts, or this is when the beginning of the side hustle, an idea comes into your head, and that's all it takes. A seed is planted, and you're like, oh, I know now what I can do with that, and let's take it, you know, especially with a new moon in your 11th house of wish fulfillment and your long-term commitments and goals and dreams. So you see the connection here. A full moon also shines a spotlight across the street all the time in the opposite house. So again, for you, Sag, this is lighting up again a heavy emphasis on that 11th house. And full moons are endings. So there's something wrapping up here so you can move on to something new. And there could be a connection back to April 2024 if you started anything new back then. Now, Mars in Cancer, this is a very long stay. I'm going to make a separate video about this, Sag, so stay tuned for that. But all in all, wherever Mars goes, that's where we are pouring more energy and motivation and passion and drive into this area of life. Now, because it's Cancer, for all of us in general, this is putting the focus on our home life. Who lives with us, who we live with, whether it's family, friends, flatmates, whatever. This could put a focus on our parents, how we parent, if you are a parent. Even if you're a parent to a furry friend, that's still a parent, right? You're still taking care of a fellow spirit, a fellow, even if it is an animal, right? Like animals have spirits too. So, and they also have a purpose. They are here for a purpose. So could be about that, but this is your 8th house. So again, this is about finances. This is about shared resources. This is about your partner's income. Could be going through some changes that are going to impact you in some way, shape, or form. The 8th house could also, it's a very mundane house too. So like taxes, debts, loans, mortgages. Again, anything to do with shared property, shared resources, anything you share with a partner. Yeah, for you, Sag, I'm picking up something to do with a friendship. I don't know, maybe you're in business with friends or something like that. That's probably going to change with Mars squaring this Libra house. I feel like, yes, there's going to be some changes there. But this is just putting focus on this area of life, and Mars does sever wherever he goes. So there definitely could be some changes over the next 6 months. I'm just giving you some ideas to think about, some possibilities, but we'll talk about it in a separate video. And of course, I'll be here to talk about it as we move along. Also with Mars going retrograde, I'm just going to put it out there, there could be delays in a partner's income, or a partner's income could slow down. That could be a possibility as well. So I just want to throw that out there as another possibility. Now, I want to quickly mention, I just noticed Venus is moving into your sign on the 17th of October. This is phenomenal. This is whenever Venus pops into our first house, we are a magnet. It kind of puts us in the spotlight a little bit. Similar to when the sun moves in there, not as the sun brings a lot of intense, beautiful energy, but wherever Venus goes, she attracts love, money, beauty, and harmony. So again, if you're looking for love, if you're single looking for love, you're going to be a magnet. So just put yourself out there. I would start sooner than later, Sag, if you haven't already done so. Put yourself out there, because definitely once Venus pops in here, you'll be able to attract a partner to you as well. All right, Sag, so that is about it. Enjoy the month of October, and we'll see you back here next month. Bye for now. Hey, Capricorn, let's talk about where I think your focus is going to be for the month of October. But I will mention this. I have not mentioned this for the other signs, because every time I come around to you, Capricorn, then it springs in my mind. But Pluto, this is it. This is the finale. Pluto, 5 more weeks, you guys, 5 more weeks. And Pluto is out of Capricorn. Can I get an amen or a hallelujah or something? God, since 2008, we've had the wrath of Pluto moving through this sign. So 5 more weeks, you guys. Is it going to be easy? No. Has it been easy? No. It's not. I mean, it hasn't been easy for anyone, because everyone has Capricorn somewhere in their chart. But when it's in your first house, it can be quite intense, especially these lingering degrees, 29 degrees. Also, when Pluto lingers at like the 0, 1, 2 degree mark of Aquarius, that can be pretty intense for our Aquarius friends as well. So beginning degrees, end degrees, and also 15 degrees of sign can be quite intense. And as I'm saying that, I feel chest pains, like it's like it's literal. Like I'm feeling the pressure on my chest as I'm saying that. But anyway, my point is, I'm not Debbie Downing this reading for you, Capricorn. This is good news, okay? 5 more weeks of this crap, and it's moving into Aquarius. Now, I'm not saying it moving into the second house is going to be easy breezy Sesame Street here. It's not, but it's going to be out of this house finally, and moving on to new territory. So anyway, I just wanted to get that out of the way. Your focus, let's go back to your focus. So 10th house, 11th house, your Libra house and Scorpio house is definitely the focus for the month of October, or what I think some of your focus is going to be. We'll talk about the eclipses here. But yeah, it's all about your career, Cap. It's all about career, whatever you do on a day-to-day basis, whether you're retired or working, it does not matter. What are you of service for? What are you putting yourself out there in the world? What are you known for? You know, even if it's dog walking or staying at home, raising kids, that's a bloody job, people. Raising kids, I love how people think raising kids is easy. Okay, that's a job in itself, and it's a lifelong job. You know, but anyway, that's where some of the focus is going to be. Also status, reputation, bosses, you as an authority figure, if you are a boss or a leader, or if you own a business, run a business, the spotlight is still going to be here, and the focus is going to be on you. Or again, if you work for someone else, focus could be on a boss or changes or possibilities anyway, especially with that eclipse and the south node there. There could be some changes at the top of the food chain, so to speak. Or maybe these already happened, you know, that it is possible, Capricorn, these changes already happened in your workplace. And then now maybe the dust is trying to settle, maybe after this eclipse. So that's one focus. Also, I want to mention focus could also be on mom, dad, authority figures in your life, or whoever raised you, if they're still with us. This could also put the spotlight on you as a parent, for example. How are you parenting? What does parenting mean to you? The sun moves into Scorpio, into your 11th house, putting the focus on connections, how you connect with other people, how you relate to other people. This is also the house of luck, and this is the house of, why am I drawing a blank here? Your hopes, your wishes, your dreams, your long-term commitments and goals. And again, friendship circles, people that you hang out with, memberships, groups, people that you surround yourself with by choice. That's also going to be sort of in the spotlight too. With Venus there too, you could be getting, like Venus is there right now. She is moving out into your 12th house, middle of the month. But Venus through the 11th house also brings in benefits from these friendship circles, from these groups and associations as well. Maybe even some money, you know, because wherever Venus goes, she attracts. And she also brings in the money and harmony and love and all that good jazz. Venus here also smooths things over. So if you're having any tiffs or qualms or fights or whatever with friends or groups or people or whatever, or drama, Venus is here to help smooth things over in that area of life. I'm not saying it's going to be perfect, because at the end of the day, it's Scorpio. Okay, it's quite intense. You have some passionate friends, Capricorn, or you naturally attract very intense and passionate people into your life, because that's your 11th house. If this is your 11th house, if that resonates with you. Also stubborn friends too, stubborn ass friends too, could be you could attract those type of people in your life too. But Venus here is beautiful and it's lovely and it smooths things over and it brings in benefits. And you can also maybe something to do with money. Maybe a friend or someone owes you money and you finally get that back, or whatever the case may be. But there's benefits coming in from these friendship circles at this time. Okay, let's talk about, if you're single and looking for love, Capricorn, it could be full on. Venus moving through the 11th house could mean your friend connects you with someone, or your friend puts you on a blind date, or you meet somebody through your friend circle or a new friendship circle, or whatever the case may be. That's a possibility. Once Venus pops into the 12th house, I'm just going to put it out there, this is hidden love coming in. So this could be somebody coming back around from the past, or this could be just you dating somebody in secret. This could also be an affair. I'm just going to throw it out there. I'm not here to break up marriages and instill fear. It's a signature. Whenever I see Venus moving through the 12th house, that's like hidden love. It could be like you're dating somebody in secret. I think we all did that back in our teenage years. I know I certainly did. So that's what it sort of reminds me of, that sort of flavor of energy. Okay, let's go to the new moon and the full moon here. So eclipse, final eclipse in Libra, 10 degrees. If you have anything in Capricorn at 10 degrees, you will definitely feel this. If you don't know your chart, don't worry about it, because you'll be feeling this regardless. All of us will be feeling it because it's an eclipse. It's the final one in Libra. We're not going to get another eclipse cycle like this, where the south node is in Libra for 18, 19 years. Think back to 2005, 2006. That's when we last had this eclipse cycle, Capricorn. So just to give you kind of a flavor of what you've been moving through since July of 2023, when this eclipse cycle technically began. So we're wrapping something up here, Capricorn. We have a final Aries eclipse in March of 2025. So I'll talk about it then, but this is the last one in Libra. So this is the final letting go of something in your career sector, Capricorn. Now keep in mind, this might have already happened, okay? things usually don't happen on the day of the eclipse. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. But this might have already happened, Capricorn, where you transitioned careers or you changed jobs or whatever the case may be. Eclipses, 2 months, they usually happen sometimes or manifest 2 months prior to the day, or 6 months, they ripple out 6 months after the day of the eclipse. So as you can tell, we're always in eclipse cycles, right? It's just that around the eclipse dates, things can speed up. Life can speed up. Things can happen rather quickly. So that's September and October. We're definitely still in the heat, the thick of eclipse season. So just keep that in mind. Some of you, this might have already happened. You changed jobs, changed commitments, got a new boss, changed something about your business, or moved into being a business owner. Maybe you let go of the corporate job and moved into something new, something different, something unique. This could also be changes in your parents' lives too. This might not be about you, but again, it impacted you, right? So it could be about a mom, dad, an authority figure, somebody that raised you, a grandparent, some sort of changes in the home and family life, which impacted you as well. Could have been a change of status, Capricorn. What do I mean by that? Going from married to divorced. You know, maybe you've been known to be married to this person and now you're single, or vice versa. You've been single and now you're connected with somebody now. So that's a change of status, how people know you. But that can also be career, right? Maybe you're known as the corporate head of some department, and then now you're moving into a spiritual based business. You know, that could be a possibility, right? With these eclipses, especially at the south node of letting something go in your career sector, so you can lean more into your 4th house sector of home, family, foundation, or spending more time at home, bringing in more work-life balance as well. That could be something that's highlighted at this new moon as well. Regardless though, this is a new moon. I don't recommend planting your seeds of intention. I usually say that every month, but not around eclipse time, because they could go sideways, you guys. So you do you. If you feel called to try to manifest on this new moon eclipse, give her. Just expect the unexpected. It's kind of like Uranus. You don't know what you're going to get. Eclipses are wild card energy, and eclipses work for us, not so much bring us in what we want. Like that hot red sports car, maybe that's not it. Maybe it's something else that you have to let go of. So maybe you can get that sports car later on down the road or something like that. That's just a very, very simple, basic example. But these eclipses are asking us to let something go. And it's going to be difficult and challenging, possibly at times, but it's part of your journey. It's part of the process. So you can move into a higher version, a higher expression of yourself, Capricorn, if that makes sense. Okay, the full moon at the bottom of your sky. Now this might have a flavor. So this is happening on October 17th. This might have a flavor from April of this year, when we had that new moon eclipse in Aries at 19 degrees hand in hand with Chiron. Now this is not an eclipse, but it's a full moon. It's a culmination to that new moon eclipse that happened in April of this past year. So, and it's also hand in hand with Chiron, and it's at 24 degrees. I would say that's pretty darn close to 19 degrees. So Capricorn, if you have anything around 24 degrees of your sign, again, you're gonna feel this full moon the most. You might see something manifest. But I mean, regardless, something is coming to a culmination point with regards to your home, your family, your living situation, moving, renovating, changing homes, something to do with your kids, or your kids moving out, kids moving in, something to do with your parents, mom, dad, authority figures. This could impact your career, because full moons shine a spotlight in the opposite house. So in this case, again, emphasizing your 10th house of career, shining a spotlight on that career sector as well. So this is an ending. This is a culmination point. Again, connection back to April, possibly. But yeah, this is an ending. All in all, this is an ending, and this could be healing. Maybe something to do with your roots, with your ancestry, healing that part of you. This is just going to, I could see, you know, for some of you, this might be difficult. This might be challenging, but this will be like relief, release. Something is being bubbled up to the surface to acknowledge, say thank you. Thank you for bringing up that memory, but I don't need it anymore. I'm good. I've healed. I've moved on. I've forgiven that person. They did the best they could with what the tools they had in front of them at the time. I'm thinking of like parents, right? Or whatever, grandparents, or something to do with how you were raised or whatever. The fourth house is very personal to us. So if anything comes up at this time, Capricorn, that's painful, that's hard to accept and acknowledge and look at, do your best to move through the emotions, let yourself feel them, and let them go. You know, say, thank you so much. Thank you for coming up. I love you. Thank you. The Ho'oponopono prayer is coming up in my head right now. So like, thank you. I acknowledge you. Goodbye. I'm sorry. You know, you're no longer needed here. So, and let that go. I know it's easier said than done, Capricorn. So if that resonates, I just thought I'd mention that. Let's see here. Also, Mars. I'll make a separate video about this, Capricorn, but this one is going to be important for you too. It is opposing your sign, and this is a 6-month transit approximately in your 7th house of relationships. I think, Capricorn, your relationships are going to be going through a restructuring, possibly, whether this is in love, business, or friendships, or contracts, agreements, negotiations. Mars severs wherever he goes. He slices and dices. So there could be changes in this area of life as well, Capricorn. And I'll talk about that in my other separate video. But regardless, wherever Mars goes, he, again, our energy and focus goes towards this house. So focus is right now on relationships and how we relate one-to-one with people, whether this is in love, whether this is in business or friendship circles, or again, putting the focus on your marriage if you are married or in some sort of committed relationship. There's going to be some introspection that's happening in your relationship house. Otherwise, Capricorn, enjoy the month of October, and we'll see you back here next month. Bye for now. Hey, Aquarius, let's talk about where I think your focus is going to be this month. But before I dive into that, actually, 5 more weeks, talking about Pluto, 5 more weeks, and Pluto is going to be jumping into your sign for 19 years. And I'm sure you're sick and tired of astrologers talking about this, but this is such big news, Aquarius. And if you've been following me for a while, I'm sure I've said this before, be prepared to be transformed inside and out, over and over again, burn to the ground over and over again, and rebuild over and over again. I don't say that lightly. I've experienced this. I'm a Capricorn rising, and my moon is in Capricorn. So I would not be saying this to you unless I experienced this myself. I'm alive. I'm real, I think. But I've experienced this, you guys. Is it easy? No, but it's such a powerful transit. Like, I feel like I can take on anything now. I feel like anything can happen to me. And the resiliency level is through the roof. Capricorn and Aquarius are both ruled by Saturn. We are the epitome of resiliency in our own ways. Okay, like Capricorn and Aquarius are totally different signs. But the resiliency flows through our bones together, so to speak. So Aquarius, just don't be scared of this. I don't want anyone to be fearful of this transit. You are going to come out the other side a new human beyond what you can think right now. And it'll, trust me when I say it's going to be for the better. Okay, it's going to be for the better. You're going to go through the dark night of the soul multiple times, but it's going to be effing incredible. And I just can't stress that enough. So I'll get off my soapbox now, but I just wanted to share that. I was compelled to share that because I personally went through this, and I don't know. I don't regret a thing. I don't regret a thing what happened to me, because Pluto has helped me in so many ways transform inside and out, and it's powerful. It's so, I just can't describe it. You'll know what I mean 19 years from now. Or maybe not even that, depending on what you're watching for, Aquarius, okay? Whether you have a stellium in Aquarius, or your sun, or your rising, or your moon, or whatever, it doesn't matter. It's going to be for your highest good. Anyway, I'll stop my lecture now. Okay, focus is going to be on your 9th house, which makes beautiful aspects down to you, Aquarius. So your Libra house and Scorpio house is going to be lit up this month at the top of your sky. So 9th house is all about spirituality and religion and legal matters and higher education. This is also about teaching and publishing, long distance travel. This is your belief systems. This is meeting people from all walks of life, all different backgrounds, all over the world. And this is the house of pushing yourself outside of your comfort zone. And keep all those things in mind when I start talking about the eclipse energy there. Now, once the sun and Mercury moves into your 10th house of Scorpio, then the focus will turn to your career sector, or whatever it is that you do on a day-to-day level. Because maybe some of you don't work or you're retired, but it's sort of like, what are you known for? What do you kind of want to be? What do you want to contribute to the greater good for? It's sort of like being of service, so to speak. This could also be about bosses or authority figures in your life. This could be about your parents. This could be about your home life as well. Also your status. What I mean by status is like, maybe you're known for being single and then all of a sudden you're married, or suddenly, you're known for being married and then change to status of divorce. I'm not saying all of you are going to get divorced, okay? But I mean, the focus is on status and reputation, like what you're known for, whether it's in a career perspective or career lens, or a personal lens as well, like what you're known for in the public, so to speak. So that's where I think your focus is going to be. Also, with Venus moving through the top of your sky, this is really good. Really good time if you want to ask for a raise, especially while Venus is up here in your 10th house. So if you want to ask for a raise, do it before the 17th of October. And mind you, Venus moving into your 11th house is not a bad thing either, but maybe it just might appear more, what's the word I'm looking for? It just might be more beneficial. It might work out in your favor a little bit better if you ask while Venus is at the top of your sky. And definitely bring some oomph behind it. Say, I've been doing this. I've been taking on this. I've been training this person, whatever the case may be. Pitch it to them. What's the worst that can happen? They're going to say no, right? So, but yeah, you're very attractive. Wherever Venus goes, you attract. Attention, love, money, beauty, harmony. Also, if you're single, Aquarius, you could actually meet somebody in the workplace while Venus is transiting your 10th house. But once she pops into Sagittarius, if you're single and looking to date, this could be meeting somebody in your social circles, right? Whether this is on social media or whether this is meeting somebody through a friend, or a friend hooks you up with somebody, whatever the case may be. So could be a good month to bring in love if you are interested in that. But Venus at the top of your sky to smooths things over in your career sector, Aquarius. So if you have been having some difficulty in your career, Venus makes you look really good, as I mentioned, and she just helps to smooth things over with those business or work relationships as well. Okay, eclipses. Let's talk about eclipses. We have the new moon final solar eclipse in Libra at 10 degrees. Now, this is a cycle that's been happening. We're wrapping up this cycle now. This has been happening since July of 2023. So what has been happening in your life since then? If you want to reflect back further, 2005, 2006 is when the last time we had this particular setup in the sky with the North Node in Aries, South Node in Libra. So there could be similarities from 05, 06 to now, for example. Not the exact thing is going to happen. That's just, it's not possible because there's different players in the sky. They've moved around on the chessboard, so to speak, okay? So not the exact same thing's going to happen, but there could be similarities, for example. So I usually say plant those new moon intentions, but I don't really recommend it this month because eclipses are wild card energy. Just like Uranus, it's like expect the unexpected. So if you consciously try to manifest, it might go sideways. So you do you if you feel called to manifest. This is in your 9th house of the gods. So if you do feel called to manifest something, Aquarius, you do you. Absolutely. At the end of the day, this energy is flowing into your sign quite nicely. It's not making a harsh angle. It's making a nice aspect to anything you have around 10 degrees of Aquarius, for example. So I'll leave that up to you, but just be mindful of expect the unexpected. That's all I'm going to say. And keep in mind, this might have already happened. This is an ending and a new beginning. So technically 2 months ago, something could have already happened or started. It's not so much about the date. It's about the energy around these dates. So September, October, yes, is quite intense because we're right in the thick of this energy. But something could have happened in this area of life 2 months ago. And if it hasn't yet happened, it could ripple out for another 6 months yet, right? Until the next eclipse cycle. So this 9th house, as I rattled off before, endings and new beginnings with religion, legal matters, higher education, teaching, publishing, long distance traveling, long distance tripping around, meeting people from all walks of life, different cultures, connecting with people, whether it's socially like this, you know, the beauty of technology, we can connect with people all over the world, or physically traveling. This is about your ethics, your belief systems, and this is also the house of pushing yourself outside of your comfort zone. So endings and new beginnings in this area of life for you, Aquarius. Now, the full moon, now this is not an eclipse, but it's a full moon in Aries at 24 degrees. And I think this is going to have something to do with April 2024, when we had that new moon solar eclipse that everybody saw if you were in North America. Very beautiful, very intense to witness. But I feel like there's a connection here. Something that was started back in April could be coming to a culmination point in this area of life. So, and it could also have something to do with healing, because back then in April, the eclipse was hand in hand with Chiron. And this time around, the full moon is hand in hand again with Chiron. So this could literally be something to do with healing, whether this is on a physical level or on a mental or a spiritual level. So just keep that in mind if that resonates. But otherwise, your 3rd house is all about the lower mind. Like notice what you're noticing, or notice what you're thinking, your thought process, how you communicate with other people. This is about technology, transportation, or how you get around. This is siblings, cousins, neighbors, extended family members and relatives. This is about your immediate community or your immediate environment and neighborhood. Or if you live in an apartment building, that would be called or considered, I would say, a community of people. This is also about maybe social media, the internet, and again, traveling. 3rd house is more about local traveling, like traveling within your region or district or whatever. Whereas the 9th house is more so about long distance traveling, like traveling across provinces or across states or across bodies of water, you know, to new countries, for example. So regardless, the new moon, full moon this month is lighting up your travel sector is what I'm getting at. And also expanding the mind, right? Whether it's the lower mind, the higher mind. So Aquarius, I hope that kind of gives you a flavor of what could be coming down the pipe for you, not only this month, but again, something that could be rippling out for several months, especially in that 9th Libra house. This could also have something to do with a relationship. I also want to throw that out there with the South Node being in Libra, the relationship house, or the relationship sign, I should say. This is about letting something go, or letting a relationship go so you can welcome in something new. And again, maybe this already happened. Like, you know, back in July of 2023, this is when this cycle started. So you could be seeing someone new at this time. But maybe in the past you had to let someone go at the beginning of this cycle, or whatever the case may be. Just something to ponder. Okay. The last thing I want to mention really quickly is Mars in Cancer. This is a very long stay. I'm going to make a separate video about this because Mars is going retrograde in Cancer and the early degrees of Leo, which is your relationship sector. Speaking of relationships, but I'll make a separate video. But here's some things about the 6th house that I want you to sort of keep in the back of your skull. 6th house is a very busy house, just like your 3rd house. So this is all about being of service. How are you being of service? And again, it does not matter if you're working or not working. How do you want to contribute to the greater society or the greater people, or whatever you want to call it? This is about your work. This is about your day-to-day habits and routines. This is about the workplace. If you own a business, run a business, if you're a manager, this is also going to represent people that work for you. There's likely going to be some changes in the workplace, likely going to be some changes to your business from a human resource perspective, people that work for you or with you. This is about your health and well-being, how you're taking care of your body. Actually, with Mars in here, this is an incredible time to get rid of things out of your diet, like sugar or gluten or dairy or whatever you have to get rid of. Excellent time to do it while Mars is in here, but just stick to it though, because when Mars goes retrograde, we might get a little, dare I say, lazy, and then start, you know, eating the stuff that's not good for us, right? Or that's making us inflammation. You know, Mars in here can also cause a lot of inflammation in the stomach or gut area, your intestines area as well. So this could be about cleaning up your diet, Aquarius. You know, daily habits and routines, running the kids there, running the kids here. Maybe it's time to change that up. Can you share that with somebody else in the household? Or maybe if your kid is old enough, maybe get them to start driving, get them to get their license and driver's ed and all that fun stuff. So a lot of change could be coming in with this 6th house in introspection. This is also about pets and animals as well. So anyway, I'll talk about that in greater detail later on, but otherwise enjoy the month of October, Aquarius, and we'll see you back here next month. Bye for now. Hey Pisces, let's talk about where I think your focus is going to be for the month of October, or at least some of your focus, Pisces. So as you can see, your Libra house and your Scorpio house is jam-packed full of personal planet energy, and also the South Node is in there, and we also have an eclipse in Libra this month that we are going to be talking about. So the sun is still in your 8th house. Yes, I'm going to come back to the eclipses in a second, but the sun is putting a spotlight on your finances. Not so much depending on your circumstance, but if you are connected to somebody, whether this is in love or business, Pisces, this is putting an emphasis on your partner's finances, so to speak. Shared resources, shared debt, mortgages, loans, taxes, you know, kind of like the mundane day-to-day stuff. This is also the house of transformation as well, and deep psychological matters could be bubbling up at this time as well. And I'll touch on that in the eclipse when I start talking about the eclipses too. This is the house of big transformational change on multiple levels, on, you know, spirituality, physical, whatever the case may be. So lots of power moving into this house, Pisces, and I'll come back to this in a second. Once the sun moves into Scorpio, which also has kind of the same flavors of the 8th house that I just rambled off. But this is your 9th house. So this is all about religion, spirituality, publishing, teaching, education, going back to school, legal matters. This is the house of the gods. This is your ethics, belief systems, and this is traveling. Like usually long distance, the 9th house is all about those long distance connections, meeting people from all walks of life, all over the world. This is also the house of pushing yourself outside of your comfort zone. What I like about your 9th house, Pisces, is the Sun and Venus and Mercury will be making really nice aspects to your planets, placements, points, whatever you're watching for right now in Pisces. So that's where I think the majority of your focus is going to be this month. Now, Venus moving through the top of your sky is also a blessing. Wherever Venus goes, she brings in love and harmony and beauty. And wherever she goes, she kind of smooths things over. She helps us with our relationships. So again, 9th house, if you are traveling, Pisces, for the month of, September and October, you know, things look pretty good with Venus in here for sure. Now, once Venus moves into your 10th house, I do like this as well for your career, right? So this is a good time if you want to ask for a raise. I would not do it before the 17th of October. I would at least wait until she moves into Sagittarius. But again, you appeal more to your boss or manager, or if you work for anyone, go for it, I would say. Otherwise, what's the worst that's going to happen? They're going to say no. Now, if you own a business, not a bad time to relook at your pricing structure. Can you raise your prices by, even if it's a percent, you know, especially if you've had your pricing structure set for a long time, not a bad time to relook at your pricing structure as well. And again, because you deserve it, Pisces, like your services, whatever services you're providing, I have no doubt are worth it. So just reassess, not a bad time to reassess that. Okay, let's go back to the eclipses here. I want to start talking about the new moon, full moon this month. So new moon, final solar eclipse in Libra, 10 degrees. If you know your chart, if you have anything around 10 degrees, you are definitely going to feel this the most. But regardless, we're all going to feel these eclipses. But anyway, this is the final one. This is the finale. We're not going to have another South Node Libra eclipse for another 18, 19 years. Think back to 2005, 2006. That's the last time we actually had this exact same cycle where the North Node was in Aries, South Node was in Libra. So I'm not saying the exact same things are going to happen, but there could be similar themes of life coming up at this time, Pisces. So this is something we've all been moving through since July of 2023. That's when this current cycle started, and it will be wrapping up technically in early 2025. We have our final Aries eclipse in March of 2025. So that marks the ending, but this is the last one at the South Node. So this is all about endings and new beginnings, because this is a new moon. So I can't ignore the fact that this is technically a new beginning, but it's with the South Node. So that's letting something go in order to welcome in something new in your second house of Aries. So Pisces, the things I nattered off there before about, you know, the sun illuminating your 8th house. So this could be about, again, keep in mind endings and new beginnings, psychological matters, like deep psychological matters, healing on multiple levels, okay, whether it's mental, spiritual, physical. This is big change, big transformational change of letting something go and welcoming in something new. This is about maybe mundane stuff, day-to-day stuff like taxes, paying bills, debts, loans, mortgages, you know, consolidating debt to a more manageable level, or paying off debt, paying off something big so you can, again, maybe buy new property or start that side hustle or buy a new vehicle, or I don't know, whatever you want to do, Pisces. You're just moving into something new. This is about your partner's resources, whether this is in love or business, if that resonates with you. This is shared property, shared finances. This is about inheritance. This is about the shadow. This is about deep intimacy, sexuality. This is also the house of fear, power, and control. Whether this is about you or this is about somebody else. So always keep that in mind too. So I know that's a lot, but again, there's something here that's starting but also ending at the same time, if that makes sense. Now let's talk about the full moon now at the opposite end of the sky. So your second house, by the way, this is lighting up your financial sector like a Christmas tree, if I have not already mentioned that. So your finances are going through definitely a big metamorphosis, definitely big changes have probably already happened, Pisces. And then this is kind of like the finale point, the last final 6 months or 9 months or so. So full moon in your second house, 24 degrees of Aries. I have a feeling that there's a connection here to April 2024. That's when we had that beautiful yet intense solar eclipse in Aries at 19 degrees, and it was hand in hand with Chiron. This full moon is at 24 degrees hand in hand with Chiron. So again, I feel like there's a connection here back to April. Regardless, this could also be about healing, healing money wounds or belief systems, or something to do with your value. Like I touched on earlier about, you raise your prices, Pisces, because guess what? You're worth it. Could be something to do with that as well. Something could be bubbling up to the surface at this time to be acknowledged and healed. And okay, thank you. You can go now. You've served your purpose. So it's time to move along, move along. And I know that's easier said than done, but that's kind of the imagery I'm getting with this full moon is something's coming to, well, full moons are endings, culmination points. So something could be rising in you at this time, and it has to be acknowledged. Do not stuff it back down, Pisces. Do what you can to let it go and release it and heal it and forgive it, and work with a professional if you have to move through these motions, because it will be worth it to release this once and for all. Okay, so what else? Second house. This could be about well, money, obviously, finances, your financial situation, work, whatever you do to earn a living or earn that income, your value systems, as I mentioned, how you earn a living, whether you're working or not working, how are you contributing to day, or what are you known for? Even if it's dog walking or volunteering or tarot reading or whatever. It's your income stream. Something's coming to a culmination point. This is about material possessions. Anything that belongs to you. The second house is more so about you and your finances, where the eighth house is more so about joint finances or money coming in from other streams of income, like a side hustle, a second business, a second job, government, clients, whatever the case may be, a spouse, right? Spouse's income, things like that. So Pisces, I hope that kind of gives you an idea of what could be coming down the pipe. But again, keep in mind, especially in your eighth house at that eclipse, some of this stuff might have already happened, okay? Or if not, it's wrapping up over the next 6 months. So just always keep that in mind for the month of October. Last thing I'm just going to quickly mention is Mars in Cancer. So Mars is going to be in here for quite some time in your fifth house. He will dip into Leo next month, which I'll talk about. But the main retrograde that is starting in December, the bulk of it is going to be in Cancer. So pay attention to what starts to happen this month in this area of life. So fifth house is all about your children, if you have any children. This is about birthing something new, or quite literally pregnancy. This is your anything to do with the arts, whatever that means for you. Downloads. This is also music, if you write music or something to do with music. This is creative endeavors, creative projects. This is the spark of life house. This is where our passions and motivations lie. And with Mars here, it's just going to amp up that energy and just get you laser focused in this area of life. So you're definitely possibly birthing something new here over the next 6 months when Mars is going to be going back and forth in Cancer here. This could also be about romance and dating. So if you are open, Pisces, to meeting someone new, as I mentioned, or did I mention? I don't know if I mentioned this, but Venus moving through the top of your sky. Venus in the 9th house could be international love, finding love, internationally, or connecting with someone with, again, different value system, different culture, someone that's different from you, basically. And also Venus moving through the 10th house, that can mean finding love at work, in the workplace, or somebody at work hooking you up or connecting you with somebody they know. Now, Mars moving through the 5th house, this is also that spark of romance and dating and pleasure and sex. So Pisces, this could actually be quite a spicy transit for you when it comes to romance and dating and sexual pleasure and all that kinky stuff that you like, Pisces. I'm just teasing. Please don't get upset. But regardless, jokes aside, this could definitely be a spark of love in your relationship. If you're even in your existing relationships, Pisces, bring the love and the spark back. Go on a trip, have something fun. I don't know, go do something fun, go do something adventurous. This is Cancer though, so maybe you want to stick around home, stick around your local environment or community, go on a date night, whatever. This is also about bringing back the love and enjoyment and pleasure in your current love relationships if you are connected with someone, Pisces. So all in all, I think it's a blessing for those folks that are single and also for those folks that are connected with someone. Your kids though, this could definitely get spicy for your kids. You might notice your kids are a little bit more fired up, maybe a little bit more mouthy, dare I say. So just something to pay attention to as well. Again, not the end of the world. It is what it is. I just heard they are also entitled to free speech. Yeah, we know that. We know that. So anyway, I'll get into it a little bit more, Pisces, once I do a Mars retrograde in Cancer video. I'll dive a little bit more deeper into this and provide some more examples, because Mars is also going to be touching into Leo in your 6th house as well. So, all right. All in all, Pisces, I wish you a wonderful month of October, and we'll see you back here next month. Bye for now.